Democrat, but he wrote in the Washington Post that this type of research threatens our civilization, that it's a risk that we shouldn't be taking.
Why aren't more people interested?
It's really shocking that no Democrat is interested. This has become so polarized that you're either, completely in the bag with Fauci or completely opposed to him, and there is no one wanting to actually get to the truth of where this came from or understand that this could happen again. The other professor that we have followed and looked at with this is a guy named Ebright from Rutgers. He's been fighting this battle since 2004. So he's felt like since 2004 we were in danger of creating viruses in the lab that can create pandemics, and we have not had one hearing on it. And so I'm going to keep fighting for it. But it also is why elections have consequences. If we win in 2022, and I win re-election, I could well be the chairman of the health committee, and we will investigate this at that point. Right now, I have no power because we're in the minority. In the majority, the election does make a difference who runs the committee.
Fauci was asked about people who criticize him, like you, and he said,
I'm really criticizing science, because I represent science.
I think that's an incredibly arrogant attitude, and sort of, to me, more reminiscent of the medieval church, that the government represented and decided what was science and what was correct science. In those days, it was that the sun went around the earth and not vice versa, and they were adamant about that. I think anytime you have government dogma saying they are science, or government bureaucrats who claim that this is the one and perfect truth and it comes from me and I represent it, I think we should run headlong away from that. Science is something like politics and something about the law. It's about disputation. You bring your set of facts, you present them to a conference, and if you've ever been to a scientific conference, boy, there's sometimes some yelling and screaming back and forth. There are people saying, no, that's wrong, and what about this evidence? And that's sort of what peer review is. Your peers look at this, they argue back and forth, and they say, do your facts, and they challenge you. And sometimes they say, go back to the drawing board, we want one more set of experiments to prove the point you're making. We're not sure it's true. That's the way science has always been. It's never been about one person, like Fauci saying, I am the science. Not only is it arrogant, it's incredibly dangerous for progress that might be stymied by that.
you fought the mandates, but at what point is government justified when disease is really contagious, and then saying, yes, everybody must get vaccinated?
I think government can be involved in giving advice, but I'm not for mandates, particularly
Ever?
for some. No, I'm not
What
really.
if it's airborne Ebola? It's killing
Yeah.
huge numbers of people.
My guess is that people are pretty smart and people will make the right decision. Even now, see, the big lie that's being promulgated is that people are not being vaccinated. It's the opposite of the truth. I looked at the CDC website this morning. Over age 75, 97% of Americans have been vaccinated. Between age 65 and 74, 99% of Americans have voluntarily chosen to be. We are not stupid. The whole idea of collectivism is that people are too stupid to make their own decisions. Individuals will make rational decisions and do. Between the ages of 50 and 64, 87% of Americans are vaccinated. Overwhelmingly, we're vaccinated, and the only reason they think we're short is because they're discounting the other folks who have also had the disease naturally. The conservative estimates by the CDC think that 150 million Americans have now had COVID. Between those who've had COVID, those who've been vaccinated, we overwhelmingly are protected from this disease. And the thing is those who are not protected, who are suffering, those who don't get vaccinated are suffering for their decisions. But the dissemination of the disease isn't really being stopped by the vaccine. The dissemination of the disease, particularly Omicron, is probably being disseminated whether you're vaccinated or not.
Some people are stupid. Is there no point when the government does have a right to force a vaccination?
I'm not forever forcing someone to take medical care. I think that's the individual's decision. I think by and large that people do make wise decisions. I think it's an elitist point of view that says that people are too stupid to make their own decisions. And I think the evidence right now is that overwhelmingly those at risk have definitely made the right decision. But here's the reason I'm against the mandates. If you're 10 years old, your chance of dying is virtually zero. If you're 80 years old, your chance of dying is 10,000 times greater. So really the advice I would give a 10-year-old is different than an 80-year-old. The other thing is one thing we don't for certain is if you've already had COVID and you're a 10-year-old, immune response that you get from being vaccinated perhaps too much for your system? Is it perhaps related to the myocarditis or pericarditis that can occur? And I don't think we yet know that. Why? Because they excluded children from the testing who had already had COVID. So the one group that I know about were excluded from the testing on safety. So we don't yet know if you've already had COVID, whether it's a good idea for a child to be vaccinated or whether there's a heightened risk for myocarditis. We do know that the death rate among children is less than the seasonal flu. We never mandated that kids got vaccinated for the seasonal flu. Got like 49 different vaccines. For goodness sakes, would we not be for some choice for parents and kids?
I'm for choice for parents and kids. I keep coming back to this because what about the extreme case? Just as a thought experiment. What if this were much more deadly? And there are some stupid people who expose others. The 10-year-old may not get hurt himself, but he might pass it on to somebody else. And we do reduce the chance of spread if a lot of people get vaccinated. What if it's airborne Ebola or something? Does government ever have the right to say, you must take this medicine?
My answer would be no. And what I would say is if there's airborne Ebola, I would like you to find me the person that doesn't want to get vaccinated. If they don't want to get vaccinated, guess what? They're going to die so quickly. One of the reasons Ebola is not a problem is because you die so quickly, it never spreads outside of villages. It rarely has so far. But no, I think that people can make wise decisions, and I'm not for the government making them. The problem is once you let government in the door to make these decisions, they make onerous decisions that are not really wise or based in science. So even looking at the mandate on masks, for example, one, the masks don't work very well, particularly the cloth mask. But if you look at Sweden, they have no mask mandate. They have 1.8 million children. They have no deaths in that age group over the last year and a half when they've not worn masks. If you look at the teachers, increased incidence of infection among teachers versus other professions. So the entire mandate of wearing masks in schools in the United States, there's no science behind it, we shouldn't be doing it. But that's the danger of letting this go into the hands of individuals, is that individuals can make mistakes, they have biases, and their mandates could come without a scientific justification. So I think that if you look at whether or not we should force a mandate on COVID, without question, absolutely not.
It does continue to kill people, and the number of people getting infected keeps going up.
Yeah, more people died this year with the vaccine than without, so there's not a great deal of argument that any of the mandates are going to change the course of this. I think that ultimately, the only thing that affects the course of the disease are two things: vaccination and also natural immunity. But you have people like Dr. Fauci who are completely and purposefully ignoring natural immunity, and because of that, that's why they think we need to mandate the vaccine, because they think, oh, we don't have enough immunity within the community. But it turns out with 150 million people have had it and the extraordinary voluntary vaccination rate, I think we're actually where we need to be. At the time will tell. We don't yet know what will happen with the newest variant, but the facts so far look like it will be much less deadly.
Just briefly shifting gears, inflation. You oppose the Build Back Better Act, but I listened to Rachel Maddow.
Way more support for kids to get free meals at school, and money to fix up crumbling and out-of-date school buildings. Pell Grants that help people pay for college. Hearing aids finally being covered by Medicare. We need more teachers. People's ability to get help at home.
How do you oppose these things? There's been an eternal battle between government trying to offer free things, bobbles, you name it, anything free. It all comes very easy for people to say, well, I like free things. You know, $14 cents, $25 cents, I like free things. But we have to have secondary thinking where we understand what are the consequences of passing out free things. One, we have to borrow the money. And as we borrow the money, the Federal Reserve prints up the money to pay for it, and you get inflation. So the same people that we offer free things to ultimately are the ones who pay for this through inflation. Inflation hits those who are working class and some retired income harder than anybody else. So really, you're offering people free things, but it's a bait and switch. In the end, the people getting the free things pay for them. Because even a worst case scenario is not only rising prices and wages not keeping up, but the other possibility is that you get significant recession and ultimately large-scale unemployment from the inflationary boom and bust cycle So there's a lot of reasons why we need to think beyond and look beyond a politician offering us something free.
Right, it hasn't happened yet. Our debt's gone from 15 trillion, which I thought was horrible, to almost 30 trillion now. And people say, yeah, you libertarians keep saying it's going to do all these bad things. It hasn't.
It's creating a great deal of havoc right now with inflation. But I think there's also the possibility of the destruction of the currency. Yes, that hasn't happened so far, but it happened in Germany, it's happened in Zimbabwe, it's happened in Venezuela. So a country can't destroy currency. And people say, oh, not America, we're the world's reserve currency. No, there is a time, there's a breaking point at which even the United States can destroy its currency. We've been lucky over the years in that we export our inflation. So we buy more stuff than we sell. We import more than we export. And as we pay those imports, we pay for them with inflationary dollars. Many of those, you can go to different parts of Africa where you trade your currency and you'll see dollar bills floating around the village. That's how they trade for their currency. So those dollars not coming back has actually lessened some of our inflation. But is there a point in time when other countries actually begin to doubt and those dollars fled back home? I think there is that point. And I think you can get to a point of no return. And it doesn't always happen gradually. You don't always go from 5% inflation to 8%. Maybe we go from 5% to 15%, 25% to 100%. So there has to be voices for fiscal sanity. And I think a lot of people do believe in the common sense part of this, that you can't, in your family budget, spend money you don't have with impunity. It's the same for our country. It just may take a longer period of time.
I agree. We can't spend money we don't have forever. You can stretch your rubber band further and further, but at some point, it's going to break. Inflation can explode quickly. And then you get the devastation seen in countries governed by ambitious fools, many of them socialists. Paul writes about that in his book. You start with, because eating your pets is overrated? That's not fair.
We're talking Venezuela here. The contrast is between the general population, which has lost about 20 pounds, not from dieting because there's a lack of food, and contrast that with your leader. You contrast that with Maduro, who's probably gained 50 pounds. In fact, I think it really sums up socialism in a way. There's still a well-fed top 1%. They just happen to be the government or those who are cronies or friends of the government.
People are eating their pets.
Yeah, it's desperate. We tell the story of one young lady who is 16 years old, and she's part of a gang, but her territory are several trash dumpsters, and she keeps other people from foraging for food in those because she's in charge of those. The gang just forage for food.
You would think you wouldn't have to write about it.
That's what a lot of people respond. They say the case against socialism wasn't that decided. A case against Marx was decided, by von Burke and the economists in the 19th century. Von Mises said calculation's impossible under socialism. All these arguments have been made, and then you see the 20th century, Hitler's socialism, Stalin's socialism, Mao's socialism. You would think people would have recognized it by now, but each time I think the socialists shift position. Because there were socialists in our country who thought Stalin was a good idea. There were ones who were reading the little red book of Mao and thought he was a good idea, and then they eventually shift to something else. Bernie Sanders thought Castro was pretty good for a while.
He educated the kids, gave them health care, totally transformed the society.
They thought Chavez was good, but then they finally shift, and where they all wind up? They all wind up saying, the kinder, gentler socialism that we want is Scandinavia. That's the kind of socialism, democratic socialism in Scandinavia.
When I talk about democratic socialism, I'm not looking at Venezuela, I'm not looking at Cuba, I'm looking at countries like Denmark and Sweden.
So we do a big chunk of the book in there talking about Scandinavia.
I congratulate you. Unlike most political books, which are just food fed by your advisors, you did some actual research about socialism in Scandinavia, for example. And
we learned that actually Bernie is too much of a socialist for Scandinavia, that he probably could not get elected in any of the Scandinavian countries. And this is, I think, a surprise to both him and to a lot of his supporters, because when he started talking about Denmark being socialist, the Prime Minister of Denmark came out publicly and said, Bernie, quit it. You're bad for business. We are not socialist, and if the rest of the world thinks Denmark's socialist, they won't come here and invest money.
Denmark is far from a socialist planned economy.
We found that basically it's not true that the Scandinavian countries are socialist. Basically, they have private property, private stock exchange. When different freedom or economic indexes are listed, they're in the top 10 of the most free countries. And they do have a big welfare state. But we also learned that what Bernie promises and what AOC promises in our country is untrue. They say we're going to have a lot of free stuff that a socialist state gives you, but only the rich people are going to pay for it, only the top 10%. What up? Turns out, when you look at Scandinavia, everybody pays for it, particularly starting at the working class paying a 25% sales tax, and then an income tax of 60% starting at $60,000. And really, the rich in our country pay a lot more.
60% for people making $60,000 a year. So they hit the middle class.
Yeah, and you know, in our country, what you pay. Some people making $60,000 might not pay any, but they pay very, very little, less than 10%. Particularly with the new tax cut, we've taken a lot of people off in the bottom and the middle off of our rolls completely. But the rich pay a lot more in our country than they actually do in Scandinavia. So his whole stick to the rich, thing that he's promoting isn't true in Scandinavia. He says that in our country, the corporate income taxes, the evil corporations aren't paying enough. Well, guess what? In Scandinavia, they've been 15 points below our corporate rates for 2 decades. We finally just lowered our corporate tax rate with the most recent tax cut where they were in Scandinavia.
Now, Scandinavia.
I've been working on some still lifes for the past couple months. I normally do portraits. As you can see, I normally paint portraits.
You said you do want coffee?
Yeah.
And you want to eat now?
No, not right now. But I have some more portrait ideas lined up, but I want to get all these still life ideas out the way first. Close it out. So I actually had a photographer friend of mine. It'll be easier to see it on the tablet. Let me go grab my tablet real quick. Oh, those pictures not in here? I could have swore those pictures were in this fucking tablet. Oh, there they go. So, one of my homeboys is a photographer, and he came and he did some really. Is it better that way? Yeah. He did some really cool black and whites of me in the studio. That shit right there is fire. Hold on. Let me see something. If I turn um, if I turn the brightness down, I think it's more visible that way. Yeah, but I really like that pic. I mean, you can, and most of them you can hardly tell that I'm in the studio, but you can see like my painting behind me and my easel. That one. That's another good one. Looking like Basquiat over this shit. That's my favorite one. Where you can kind of see some brushes and tools in front of me, and you can see two paintings behind me. So you can kind of tell I'm in the studio. But I understand what you're saying. Almost like the view that you see, like directly head on, of me in the studio. But now this one you can really see like my brush set up and my paint set up. That's like more of the whole studio in that one. But I have been thinking about doing one of those images, honestly. Like I said, they're dope as shit. So I'm gonna like finish this sketch up, try to outline it, tone the canvas, and then oh yeah, I'm also working on this piece. I'm trying to make an Instagram reel. Alright, this is harder than I thought it was going to be. So I tried to make, I don't know, I have 8 images. Hmm. Thank you.
You need hot sauce?
Uh, yeah, that. You don't know why this fucking connection is so slow right now?
Come in and have a seat.
Did become kind of socialist around 1970.
Right.
One other thing I learned from his book, that of 38 major businesses in Sweden, 36 were founded before 1970, just 2 since.
Yeah, many of the great successes of Swedish industry and businesses came in the earlier part of the century. The other thing that they always promote is, oh, they live longer, they have higher incomes, all this stuff, and there's no poverty and everything. Everybody's so happy there. And there's a, I think we decided there, Milton Friedman. So the Swedish economist comes up to him and he says, you know, in Sweden we have no poverty, and Friedman responds and he says, well, yeah, in America we have no poverty among Swedish Americans. And so there's a
culture.
A culture, and it's you know, maybe we don't know the exact reason, but Swedish Americans in America actually have much higher income, live longer, etc.
Danish Americans have a 55% higher living standard than Danes. Swedish Americans, same thing.
Yeah, so not only are they higher than the average American, they're actually higher than Swedes who live in Sweden and Danes who live in Denmark. So all across the board there are reasons, and there's a man by the name of Sendaji who's written a lot of these statistics, and basically he attributes it to cultural, work ethic, that kind of thing.
So they have socialized health care, well, not totally.
No matter where you put them at, they still gonna
Swedish men
have the
live
same
longer than
cultural
Americans. They did
identities
before they had
and
socialized
act according to
care.
For a long period of time, yeah.
how they were
live 5
taught to
years
act.
longer.
Yeah.
So now that they have socialized health care, they still live 5 years longer.
Exactly.
No different.
And so this is the trick of statistics. It's sort of cause and effect. You can say, oh, well, the Swedes live longer and they have socialized medicine. And yet, if you look hard at the statistics, you're exactly right. It started way before socialized medicine.
Now Gallup says 57% of Democrats view socialism favorably.
This might be our next president.
That's the thing, is you can look at it and be really alarmed, which I kind of am alarmed. It's part of the reason why my wife and I wrote this book, is we were seeing all these polls of young people who were saying, you know what, over 50% of young people, just in general, not just Democrats, but 50% of all
When you
young
think
people
about
think socialism is a
about
good
Rand
idea.
Paul, yo.
But reason
His pops tried to run for president.
and they say,
Didn't
well,
get it.
what is socialism?
His pop's name is
They're calling it 15 or
Ron
16%
Paul.
of people know or would attribute it that it means the government owning, you know, the means of production or owning the property. And so I think really we talked some about this because
But-
really the danger is one that we
Yeah,
know
his
what
dad
it is
tried to run like
before it. But the danger also is there for some vague things. And if you read the Democrat Socialists of
Obama?
America,
Oh, is that the
Party,
Obama
and you read
years?
their website.
I think he tried to run like during the Obama years. When Obama ran for president and Fox ran for president.
The first go
So we
round.
try to point
Might
out
have been
in
the
book
second
that
go round.
one way you can enforce those things is you have to have an equality police or a fairness.
Bernie
police.
Sanders was running too.
With truncheons, and we
But
talk
he just
about
gave
how
it up
it's
and just
happening.
stayed in the
Red
Senate
Dog,
and all this shit. But then his son is really popular now.
To a friend of mine's mother's house, a friend of mine who's an ophthalmologist in Nashville. Dad was a physician.
He said if daddy can't make his son will.
He was born a few years before me.
One of
And
them,
was brought up when the Cultural Revolution came about. Now said nobody goes to school. So you know how big a country China is. Nobody went to college for like.
Well, ever since this new variant came out, I know too many people that's testing positive for COVID, for the Omicron.
Hello, everybody, and thank you for tuning into the weekly report. Omicron, the lockdowners' last stand.
So this
Just
is
as
Rand
President
Paul's
Biden's
father.
unconstitutional vaccination mandates were being ripped up by the courts, authoritarian politicians, public health bureaucrats, and the mainstream media announced a new COVID variant to justify another round of lockdowns and restrictions. The things that didn't work last time would be a good idea to do again this time.
Let's try it over one more time, man. Enough people that
The
listen.
timing of Omicron's emergence was perfect. The variant was first discovered in South Africa, with the U.S. and European media running endless scare stories. Authoritarian politicians used the manufactured fear to justify another attack on liberty. Europe shut down and became a virtual prison camp. In Austria, Germany, and elsewhere, citizens became non-persons without a vaccine passport. South African health officials reported that the variant seemed to be more contagious, but far milder than previous variants, as usually happens with such viruses. But from Boris Johnson in the UK to de Blasio in New York, the variant was perfect cover for them to put their boots back on the necks of the terrorized citizens. As to be expected, Fauci reveled in the emergence of the new variant, warning of record deaths for the unvaccinated. Similarly, President Biden warned that this would be a winter of death for the unvaccinated. But here's something the media isn't reporting about the Omicron outbreaks. They are taking place among the fully vaccinated. Cornell University, with 97% of the campus fully vaccinated and a mask mandate, has announced that it would return to online-only instruction after a massive COVID outbreak. Likewise, the National Football League has postponed several games this weekend due to COVID outbreaks, even though the league is virtually 100% vaccinated. And the National Basketball Association, which is about 95% fully vaccinated, has just announced that due to a surge in COVID cases, it too will postpone games. The vaccine is not working to prevent infection or transmission of the virus. Cases are raging in states with the highest vaccines level. Yet the experts continue to maintain that the only thing that can be stopping the spread of Omicron is vaccines. More people are catching on that this makes no sense. If vaccines don't stop the spread, how can vaccines stop the spread? South Africa's COVID Response Authority has written to the health
this shit is so logical. It's like,
recommending an end
why?
to
Why are we still
containment
pumping
efforts,
ourselves up? Will it
contact
stop it?
tracing,
No, it
and
won't stop it. But
quarantine.
It
Unvaccinated
won't
South
make you-
Africa is
help you
ending
not
COVID
die from it.
restrictions while the hyper-vaccinated
Okay, well, I can
North
just like do other
is
shit
locking
to
down.
not die from it, right?
Something
No.
doesn't
No.
add up.
You gotta have the booster.
Fauci loves to say
not die
that to
from
question him is to question science.
But you can
But
still
this
catch
has
it and you
nothing
might
to
die
do
from
with
it.
science. It's about power. Fauci, the political authoritarians, and the corrupt big pharma billionaires are trying to make a last stand. Big pharma billionaires are trying to make a last stand, desperate to push Omicron as a justification for further tyranny and profits. But actual science is not cooperating. Omicron is spreading, and vaccines are not stopping it. Thus far, nearly half of Omicron's infections are asymptomatic. Some experts are predicting that Omicron will spell the end of COVID-19. But we know that as long as people like Fauci are around, COVID-19 will never end. Unless, of course, we repudiate the charlatans and the profiteers and reclaim our liberty. Thanks for listening.
You now own 1 square foot of land in Scotland.
Deliver a message is very important.
When you buy land in Scotland, you are legally referred to as a lord or lady. So
You know that?
I bought a square foot of land where they're
If
going
you-
to board trade.
And
No,
you
it's
can
totally
legally
legal.
put that on
You
any
made
type
me
of
a
on your license
Lord
or
Prince.
Lord Travis Prince.
Ah,
And that's an official title.
I dub thee Lord Gary Stone of Aberdeenshire, Scotland.
And all you need is 1 square foot of land.
Lord.
That's really crazy. It's
Yo.
only for landowners. Well, I own 1 square foot of land.
Why would Keith Stanford play so much?
Hmm.
He done fucking DM'd Omarion.
So first of all, this idea
What
that
did-
somehow
what did it-
conservatism is about
Omicron,
like
Omarion.
local school boards.
They
It's the
keep calling it
United
Omarion.
States of America. I mean, to make this concern, so the state.
He said you ruined Christmas for everybody. Yeah.
Facebook's new metaverse is relentlessly horrific. On October 28th, 2021, Facebook released a video revealing their new name, Meta. In the video, Mark Zuckerberg describes Facebook's new augmented reality. A reality where you can be whatever you want to be, where you can be seen how you want to be seen, where you can escape the clutches of your atomized, transient, lonely life.
Where you're in the experience, not just looking at it. We call this the metaverse.
The video was cringy and dystopian. People memed us. It was a joke, and then we all moved on. Little did we know, we were already in the beta version of Metaverse. In 2021, it was calculated that the average American spends 5 to 6 hours a day on their phone and another 4 hours on their computer. That means if you sleep 8 hours a day, you spend almost double the amount of your waking hours in the virtual world than you do in the real world. But what about the other 6 hours of your waking day? The hours we somehow manage to spend in the real world, well, that's time that could be spent in the virtual world. That is wasted time that doesn't make Facebook money. It's a completely untapped market, which is why Facebook decided they would take things to the next level, putting all their money, all their employees, and even changing their name to take our addictions to new heights. This really shouldn't be shrugged off. Facebook's algorithms have already worked exceptionally well. Facebook is one of the main forces behind our virtual addiction in the first place. It's for this reason that the metaverse is beyond sinister, because the metaverse sets a precedent the likes of which we've never seen before. Instead of us being addicted to a drip of anodyne lethargic dross, we will be attaching our own consciousness, our own lives, our own businesses, our own culture, our society into the virtual world. People are getting married inside the metaverse, and I've just bought a virtual shoe company that makes virtual NFTs and sneakers for the metaverse. We are currently witnessing the commodification and mechanization of human existence. But to understand this whole picture, we need to understand the person behind it all, Mark Zuckerberg.
What does it mean to be a featherless, two-legged, linguistically conscious creature born between urine and feces?
What?
Whose body will soon be the culinary delight of terrestrial worms. That's what philosophy is all about. Every generation of the human species.
The son of a dentist and psychiatrist, Mark Zuckerberg was born and raised in an affluent suburb of New York, where he would...
Is the metaverse really this dangerous and fucking dystopian, or is this dude just hating on Zuckerberg? Because Zuckerberg been a genius since his late teens, apparently. He is a weird kind of guy, but we all knew this shit was coming, man. If you ever watch any good sci-fi movies, you should have known this shit is coming. And so what? He's the one who's trying to bring it into fruition. Like I keep saying, my homie told me like almost a year ago to buy some digital land. Him and a couple of people started a group, and they were going to buy some digital land in the metaverse. And I was like, what? What are you talking about, broski? And then a couple days ago, I just listened to a news clip saying that some dude paid $250,000 to own a house next to Snoop Dogg in the metaverse. And I was like, fuck, what if we owned that property? And then he would have had to pay us that fucking $250 to get that shit, yeah. It's like, damn. That shit is real. But now, my homie won't even talk to me about that shit. I've messaged him a couple times like, yo, fill me in on this shit somewhere. He just like, fucking egging me up. Like, nigga, I try to tell you. I try to get you in on the bottom level.
I tried to tell you.
I can't even hate.
After a CDC advisory panel found that there is a likely association between the vaccines and a rare heart inflammation in young people. The heart condition is called myocarditis. It's an inflammation of the heart muscle. The most common cause is a viral infection. Your heart muscle is not able to pump as efficiently as it does if it doesn't have a viral inflammation. Now, words of the mRNA vaccines may be associated with more than 1,200 cases of this rare heart inflammation in young people. The problem is more likely after the second shot.
Yeah, y'all go ahead and get that shit, man. You gonna get your vaccine, babe?
Yeah, when you get yours.
Shit.
Never a clock.
You know what? Like I said, I got places
Why
I go.
you think I'm in a situation now? Like, literally, the job that I was at and the job I was looking at taking were both requiring me to be vaccinated within the next week. I would have a week to go get vaccinated, or else they would be terminating my employment.
I'm almost sure some of my family members will understand, like, yo, I can't work no more. I gotta live with y'all. I'm off the grid now. Fuck it.
Okay?
I'm off the grid, man.
Yeah, I was gonna say, when my current job requires it, then I don't know what we're gonna do.
Done.
We're gonna have to go rob some banks, because I don't know what to say.
Alright.
Somebody said, oh my god, it takes the second shot. Yo, no, you need a fourth one now.
Yeah, that's
To
ridiculous.
attend Harvard University. For Mark's entire life, he has never lived outside of the elitist culture he was birthed into. Just like almost all of his co-workers, associates, the reporters covering him, or even the congressman pretending to regulate him. Starting from the beginning, Zuckerberg's business ventures have always been rife with controversy and unethical business practices. Zuckerberg started his first web venture in 2003 while attending Harvard. The site was called FaceMash. It compiled photos of Harvard students and allowed users to evaluate their attractiveness. But after Harvard caught on to this, Zuckerberg would begin a new site. Inspired by Harvard students' directory Facebooks, Zuckerberg would go into creating a new online version for students. Instantly, the site gained enormous popularity. Facebook was like on a handful of college campuses. It was not the market-leading social network or even the first college social network. Other companies had launched sooner and with more features. Facebook only had 150,000 users, and yet that summer they raised their first 500,000 in venture capital. And then less than a year later, they raised an additional $12.7 million. So how was Facebook able to raise so much money when its actual usage was so small? Well, by all accounts, what impressed investors the most was one thing in particular: the raw amount of time Facebook's active users spent on the site. More than half of all users came back to the site every single day, because from the beginning, the site was built to be extremely addictive, so that once the consumer was addicted, Facebook could steal all their information and data and sell it off to advertisers for a hefty profit. From the beginning, Zuckerberg had always shown contempt for its users. For example, just days into Facebook's launch, Zuckerberg texted a friend bragging about how he had all Facebook users' personal information and offered info about anyone at Harvard. They trust me, Zuckerberg bragged. Dumb f***s. Whilst at the same time, Zuckerberg assured users over the years they shouldn't be concerned about their privacy. As Facebook continued to grow, several of Zuckerberg's early collaborators accused him of stealing credit and shares in the company. Lawsuits followed and Zuckerberg paid, but none of this would get in the way of Facebook's growth. The company was now close to 2 billion users worldwide, granting Zuckerberg a net worth of over $70 billion. And as is always the case, Zuckerberg, like every other Silicon Valley titan, never gets high on his own supply. Instead, Zuckerberg values his own privacy. He lives in a secluded 750-acre mega mansion in Hawaii, which is secured by a 6-feet surrounding wall. And in his Palo Alto house, Zuckerberg bought 4 adjacent houses at the price of $30 million just to serve as an extra privacy buffer.
Wow, wait a minute.
Does the case. Zuckerberg, like
they say this nigga bought all the houses around his house.
Instead, Zuckerberg values his own privacy. He lives in a secluded 750-acre mega mansion in Hawaii, which is secured by a 6-feet surrounding wall. And in his Palo Alto house, Zuckerberg bought 4 adjacent houses at the price of $30 million just to serve as an extra privacy buffer. And when Zuckerberg does go online, his webcam is covered with masking tape, because Zuckerberg doesn't trust technocrats like himself. But most of the public, or in Zuckerberg's words, the dumb f***s, allow Facebook to gather.
Is that really true? He bought all the houses around his house, though?
I do know he does the masking tape.
Facebook knows the sites you visit, the events you attend, the vehicles you use, because Facebook is attached to so many other sites. It even knows your browsing history, even when you're not using Facebook. Facebook is like a leash that's life force depends on sucking all your information and privacy away from you. By synthesizing this information, Facebook's algorithm can make astonishingly accurate assumptions about your life. It can know your assets even if you've never mentioned a word about money, wealth, or your investments. Facebook's facial recognition software is now so advanced that it can detect users and uploaded photos even if the user hasn't been tagged. Because this is the core of Facebook's exponential growth. This is where the real money and wealth behind Facebook lies. Facebook serves as the ultimate hub for advertisements. Its algorithms will create the most finely tuned ad pitches in history. Facebook's success is predicated on how long it can addict the user, which they can then sell off this engagement to advertisers. And the company has been insanely successful doing that.
Especially now with the reels they got on there. Man, I'll be on that shit for fucking 40 minutes before I know that shit. Laughing at literally like 20-second videos.
I was just talking to Z
30-second videos.
She's like, how do you get yourself off of social media? I'm like, yo, sometimes you just gotta delete that shit off, or like, not delete it, but take it off your front page. Like, put it on the third page of your phone. Get a damn screen time reminder to tell you, like, yo, you've been on your phone for 3 hours already. Because that shit is addicting as fuck, and they do that shit on purpose. Like, you can't get off of a video if it's something you want to watch. I could sit there and watch them animal videos all day. The animal video babies, or the videos of babies, like dancing and kids getting hurt. That shit come up all day long.
Bluntly admitted that Facebook overrides the free will of its users. When engineers designed Facebook, Parker explained that their point of focus was, how do we consume as much of your time and conscious as possible? In his XCO article, Parker admitted Facebook wasn't just addictive as a virtual drug, but was having similarly wide-reaching effects. Quote, Facebook literally changes your relationship with society and with each other. God only knows what it's doing to our children's brains. This was a stunning admission, received surprisingly little attention at the time, because deep down we all want to ignore this reality. It's just easier to be comfortably numb. The closest analogy I could think of to the addictive power of social media is probably heroin. Heroin gives an illusion of knowing and of control. The heroin addict is analogous to the social media consumer, where what is seen feels real. The virtual world allows the user to blot out the real world and enter into a pleasurable passive numbness. You become absorbed by the dopamine, hooking you to look at the next thing and the next thing. And just like any other addiction, people always overestimate their control over their virtual usage. And most importantly, the damage social media addiction has on the lives of its users and society is what, in my view, defines it as a serious addiction. And just a few months ago, Frances Haugen revealed Facebook is ripping apart the social fabric of how society works. And such agrees. A 2017 study in the American Journal of Epidemiology found that the use of Facebook correlated with declining psychological and even physical health. The more time spent on Facebook, the worse the user's mental health. And Facebook's other app, Instagram, is even worse. A 2017 study by the British Royal Society for Public Health discovered that Instagram was the most damaging social media site, causing loneliness, anxiety, and depression. This isn't a secret to Zuckerberg, or even the public at this point. It's an established fact.
I think they said in the last 10 years, 10, 15 years, with the rise of like hardcore social media, suicide rate amongst teenage girls has almost doubled.
Almost all big tech companies reach their expiry date as quickly as they rise. MySpace, Napster, Yahoo. So
I remember those days, and I was on none of them.
Which is why they began to invest everything into VR
the
technology.
Napster music shit,
MySpace, to revolutionize social media. It would take
and Facebook was popular for like a couple of years before I got on that shit.
Metaverse. Now, what's the metaverse?
Now I've been on Facebook like it's old now. It's weird. Like it's like 10 years.
Like 10 years now?
Yeah. Facebook probably.
I've been on Facebook for probably 12 years now.
The metaverse is ultimately it's not just.
It's only you saying it's only 10 years. I thought that's how long
in
you've been on it.
In the past 10 years, it's got really.
Right, but I was on Facebook before it was like.
That the virtual and real come into
I got a Facebook early.
And the market for that is gigantic. Whoever controls it will basically have.
I know.
I'm 10 years old. I thought it was like 15 years old. It's 17 years old.
17 years.
And it's called Meta now.
Yeah, and that shit is.
Your phone is already.
It's crazy. Like.
It opened to the public in 2006.
In 17, so I didn't get on Facebook until like 2010.
That's what I'm saying. I was already on Facebook, but when I first got on Facebook, I was still on MySpace. Like I was migrating from MySpace to Facebook.
And that's what a lot of people was like.
I got Instagram last.
It was like, yo, MySpace. I never even saw like a MySpace page. Like,
what? You never had MySpace? You never had MySpace?
The experience machine is a thought experiment.
No, you don't know what you missed out on. You don't know what you missed out on.
That's what everybody says.
You don't know. I'm hurt. I'm mad. You older than me and you ain't have MySpace. Nigga.
Yo, I was the last person I know to get a cell phone.
Yo, but everybody had a MySpace, even if you could only check it once a week. And then you could have your top 8, like I could have you like as number 1, my number 1 friend. And then you could like code your page. Like we were doing coding, didn't even know we were doing coding. You could add music to your profile, people could leave comments on your page. It's like Facebook came from MySpace. Everything that's on Facebook.
And that's what they said. It was like, yo, there was way other social media platforms before Facebook. It's just Facebook just worked better.
Facebook has been developed the best, but honestly, comparing something, MySpace is better than Facebook for its time. Facebook has grown.
Escapism. Well, we're so
like you couldn't video chat on MySpace, but you couldn't video chat on anything during those times.
Where everything is so fake and empty inside that we have to live vicariously through other people's stories just to feel
back in the 2000s, nobody was videoing at all. Like camcorders and shit. And now we're in 2021 and I can just record some shit from my phone. Like that shit's crazy.
Living in decaying dystopian megacities that are littered with piles of oozing feces. unable to afford a standard of
If
living that
MySpace ever
provides
made
us
a
with
comeback, I would be
dignity
happy.
or
I would go
privacy.
for
A
it.
generation of atomized, desperate, lonely users whose only way of addressing their pain of isolation is to be absorbed by the virtual world. A virtual world that strips us of privacy, freedom, and authenticity.
I didn't have
So
a
long
bank
as our
account
culture
for
continues to
years
offer
and
nothing
years, yo.
whatsoever of
Like,
substance,
I recently
authenticity, or
really
meaning,
just
nightmarish
got
trends
a
like the
bank account,
metaverse
yo.
will only
Like,
continue
I've
to
always
deliver.
had cash,
The
but
fact is, the majority of us
Big
will
Brother
jump
Cash
without a
App. And
second
honestly,
thought,
people be like, oh,
because
you don't have a
deep
bank
down
account.
we
But
have
I'm like, yo,
nothing
like,
else to live for. And
shit
when the
is
majority
changing.
of
It's about to
people
be
go into the
crypto
metaverse,
anyway.
that
yeah,
leaves
but I
only a
just
small
like
segment of the
cautious
population
of
that
like
remains outside of the
everybody
metaverse.
has my data and shit, and then now it's just like fuck it, I stream, I do all this shit, put all my information out there. You can Google me and all that shit.
So
But
it was
like,
data for you.
Because this
Mine was
allows
just
you to
like,
the god of an entirely new reality.
of course, I've had several bank accounts before, like credit unions, Bank of America, this, that, whatever. But
who have full control over the lives of the global
even with how I do stuff now, how I do my stuff direct deposited, I prefer it that way.
yeah. I mean, like I
This
said,
will serve as
for
the
a long time
catalyst
I
for
was
the
just
greatest
against
transfer of
everything. I was
wealth in
like
recorded history,
hardcore
where all our money and assets
conspiracy
are
guy,
artificially owned in a metaverse owned by technocrats who have full
and still
control of
am, but it's
speech, who have
just
full
like,
control of the
fuck it, you know,
algorithms,
I done lost so
especially
much hope.
creative
They gonna
dopamine
track you, they
continue to
gonna
shape
scan
how
you, they
think,
gonna
how you
trace
feel,
you,
how you
no
perceive
matter
the
how
world.
hard you fucking
Algorithms
try to
that
dodge that
control your
shit.
friends, families, and stimuli
Unless you
around you,
legit,
which is
for
a
real,
very
for real,
worrying fact considering
buy
Silicon
you
Valley
a
is the
couple
biggest
acres in the
threat to
fucking
West
woods
freedom of
somewhere.
speech. For example, back in 2016, billionaire investor, PayPal co-founder, and Facebook board member Peter Thiel was one of the only Silicon Valley executives who donated to Donald Trump's 2016 campaign. Because of his donations, Thiel lost his seat on the board of Facebook on the grounds that supporting Trump was the equivalent of inciting violence.
They make it so hard to go out. Like, you can't rent a car if you don't have a credit card, or you can't even like get an apartment now if you don't have a bank account or something like that. And so a lot of it was just like out of fucking necessity that I had to take part in like the digital society.
I mean, we've already seen the purging of journalists.
So they just make it so hard not to do shit anymore.
The United States for saying the wrong thing. Just a few years and decades ago, we would never have accepted this excuse that silencing, firing, and cancelling people for their opinions was fine as long as it wasn't the government doing so. But that era has been all too forgotten. So what does this mean for the metaverse, which will have a monopoly on the bulk of information the globe consumes? And most importantly, this poses the question, what kind of society do we want to live in?
Yeah, I like almost want to get off of social media, but how do you do that when you're an artist?
And that's all I'm saying. Now that we have been connected to the world, we see the benefits of it. But it's just like, you got to figure out how to use it as a tool and realize that the controllers of this platform and this form of communication, they do want to market and advertise to you and all this other shit, and they'll give it to you for free, which is cool. But like, so you gotta use it, as the tool that it can be.
And I mean, think about
And now he's the man who will dictate what
Beyonce.
you see.
You think that Beyonce sits on Instagram and checks the comments, or she don't even post her own pictures? She might be like, tell her assistant, take this picture of me. And
she don't even know what pictures getting posted.
Right.
Very, very rarely. That's why they hated
When
Trump
she's home
for
on vacation, she probably goes to her Instagram page like, oh, I remember that night. I remember that night. Oh yeah, that was a cute dress.
Yeah, she has a publicist or somebody in the IT team that manages her social media for her.
And that's the thing, like, I'm realizing, like, when I read my social media, I want to revamp it to where it's just like a business page. Like, I feel like
combining the health program
you
and
need a
social
page
credit system
for
to
just troll, like, scrolling. I think that's why people got so many troll pages and shit, because it's like, okay, I can just do whatever on this page, and then I have my main
the
page.
CCP uses to judge who gets to enjoy the benefits the state provides
yeah, like-
and who gets restricted and punished.
They need to do it differently on Instagram.
Can't. Zuckerberg owns it all now. Owns it all. You want to do it different, you can do it different, but the way I tell you
And
to
I
do
mean,
it
this is
different.
the thing, right? Like, I really enjoyed Clubhouse for a while. I was gonna
That shit got burned out so fast for me
It
though.
did,
Just
well,
like,
way quicker for you. I was more hesitant to try it, and you were all into it, and I'm all mad and shit. Like, yo, you're in this chat. Like, what the fuck are you doing? And then I got on that shit, and I'm like, oh, I see what the fuck he's doing.
How you spend your time on what you say, what you do, and your overall general
I've
behavior. With some of these
come
very
into
same
contact with some
restrictions
very
now being
cool ladies on
imposed
there.
on massive chunks of the Muslim population, a digital
People who have
ID
pointed
card
me into
that is
directions,
wanted
like
by
I said, like, I got a
government
chance
databases
to,
around
like,
the world. where your basic liberties
not
are
play my
stripped away
music
from
from
you
Lupe
if you aren't able
Fiasco,
to
but they'll
comply,
like be in a
where
chat
you are
with Lupe
dehumanized
Fiasco
for
and a
not
couple of
wanting
other
your
people, and they
God-given
have some
freedoms
good
to be used
insight.
as a bargaining
So
tool.
And I think,
I found my
like
way
I was
around the
saying,
app,
James
but
Fair
like
was like, why not supermarkets?
I
Why
can't
not
send
public
somebody a direct
transport? I know
message
it's
on
difficult
it.
to police some of these things, but
Like
really,
you gotta
it's a
put
matter
this
of
whole
just being
bio up.
society. You need to
But
be
you have to
attentive.
like
Where
go to
all
a
of
person's
those who
social
oppose
media
this
to
are
contact them
targeted
when
by
you're
big
already
tech
on a
giants
social
and a
media platform.
parasitic mob.
And it's like
All of these
counterproductive,
combining factors
right?
makes the metaverse the gateway drug to a
Not really,
globalized
just how
social
it
credit
just
system, where
every
your speech,
platform
actions, and
focuses on a certain
preferences
thing, and that's
monitored
what
at all
made
times
Yeah,
of
their
the
thing
day,
was like
where
just
your
sitting there
virtual
and
memories
talking,
are
but that's
chopped
the
up
thing,
and
like
distributed to advertisers for
what
a
if
profit. If this doesn't terrify you, I don't
wanted
know
to
what
just shoot
will.
somebody a
The
message
companies
or
who will
something,
do
you know
this
what I
have
mean?
done
Like a
nothing
private
to
message.
engender trust in their users.
Then I gotta go
And
start
yet,
my
they
own
will be
private
the
chat just to talk
architects
to
of our
that
new
person
reality.
when that's not what
And
I'm
the
trying to
even
do.
sadder fact is that most of the public will continue to eat all of this up,
yeah, but then
desperately rushing to
like you
fill
said,
the void of
everything
emptiness
is
through
all
noise.
already connected and linked on there. All you gotta do is click on their profile, click on their fucking Instagram, shoot them a direct
If their
message.
shit is linked, and that's what I said. I had to end up linking all my accounts, which is what they want you to do.
Exactly.
Which can work, but like I said, I just want a platform where we can do the chat thing. We can do rooms. That's the thing about Clubhouse. They got the rooms in the chat rooms, but like Facebook and Instagram have video chat and direct message
China is
and
limiting video game usage. China
you know
is
links for
limiting
your
the
whatever.
population's internet usage.
So
Instead,
if
China
they
is
could like
promoting marriage
combine the
within its
two
population
into
through social,
one,
economic,
I think it
and
would be like the
regulatory.
perfect platform.
China is
But
doing
Clubhouse
everything
got
it
burned
can
out
to
for
promote
me
family
because
culture within its populace.
you just don't have time to sit there and listen to people talk for hours every day. Like it was different during COVID. Right now,
Where
everybody's
single
back to
parenthood
work,
is
so
now
we don't have
praised as
time
a
for that.
virtue, where marriage and happy families are seen as an oppressive force, where the metaverse is praised by the elites, where the metaverse is willingly eaten up by people so desperate to escape their own hellish reality, a reality that is no longer even real in itself, where everything we eat, everything we consume, all the facades, all the dystopian megacities, all the synthetic pills, reality, we haven't even lived in anything remotely real in years. And that's why only in a society like ours, where nothing is real, does virtual escapism seem like a utopia. Only in a sick society does a man like Mark Zuckerberg become a sanctified prophet, which is why the technocratic
Saying he's a
vultures
sanctified
are
prophet,
busy
bro.
licking
You
their
sound
lips.
fucking super salty that you weren't the inventor of the metaverse, bro. You sound super salty.
I want shortest hair.
Forget those learning apps. The online language school. Learn to speak with confidence in live online lectures with native speaking teachers. In private or group classes, available 24/7. Sign up and start learning with Lingoda now.
US military linguists are known for being among the fastest language learners in the world. And they need to be good, because in any number of intelligence gathering or hostile situations, knowing a language can save lives. And in the US, military linguists get trained here at the Defense Language Institute, where they use techniques like ISO immersion and scream and scribble to teach foreign language in incredibly intense programs with some seriously impressive results.
Меня зовут сержант Джеймс Пол. Я из штата Теннесси. Я учитель русского языка. Салам, наши аудитории. Ассаламу алейкум ва рахматуллахи ва баракатуh. Спасибо большое. До свидания.
This is a serious operation, so I tracked down 2 retired soldiers to find out exactly how language learning happens in the military and what lessons you can steal from this for your own language goals. Oh, and stay till the end when I'll show you how you can take a mock entrance exam to see that you have the brain power to make it onto a military language program. This is the DLI, the Defense Language Institute Foreign Language Center, and it's right here in Monterey, California. It is the biggest, most efficient and effective foreign language institution in the US that trains more than 350,000 students each year, or nearly 4,000 students at any given time. Now, there's also a smaller DLI school in Washington, D.C. that specializes in 65 less commonly taught languages, as well as an English training center at the Air Force Base in Texas. but most of the action takes place in California. Now, to attend, you must be a member of the armed forces or be sponsored by a government agency. So, to all of you language dreamers out there, sorry, it probably ain't going to happen. So who makes it to the DLR? Well, let's start with federal employees. That's FBI, DEA, Border Patrol, Coast Guard, and so on. Linguists in these government agencies do intelligence jobs, and they're mainly jobs that are close to home, investigating drug trafficking, for example. If you watch TV, I'm sure you will have at least some idea of what these guys do. But the military also trains interpreters that it sends all over the world, and these linguists work to translate highly classified documents and connect with troops and allied forces. And of course, on the front line, this ability to communicate can be crucial, and that's where the armed forces come in. Soldiers who may have been deployed to Afghanistan, for example, would have gotten intense language training at the DLI with native Afghan instructors.
Our students initially are Department of Defense service members. They come from all the different branches of the military. As volunteer citizens, a lot of them have recently come from basic training. As military members, they come from throughout the United States, very diverse. We have young service members, but we've also got careerists who return back for advanced language training, as well as officers for advanced training.
By the way, if you're new here, welcome. My name is Ollie Richards, and this channel is all about helping you learn a new language and explore the world through the power of story. Now, do you want to see inside the school? Well, I certainly do. For 7 hours a day, 5 days a week, young men and women in uniform are hard at work in 3 intensive language classes. And when they log off, at the end of the day, they still need to get through 2 or 3 hours of homework and somehow also fit in an hour or 2 of study time. But that's not all. This is the military after all. Soldiers have PT schedules and other duties. Now, as I'm sure you can guess, the school has a reputation for excellence. After all, they've been successfully training soldiers in foreign languages since 1941.
Только что окончил передрицу. Что же в ней? Да, все тоже. Ты знаешь, что такое правда? В ней эти вести. Да, в вестях нет правды, да?
So what languages can soldiers learn here? Well, because it's the Defence Force, the list is very specific. 17 languages and several dialects of those languages. And depending on the difficulty of the language, the courses can last anything from 26 to 64 weeks. And I'll tell you which languages take how long in just a second. I spoke to
in 1 year, well, 64. There's 52 weeks in a year, so in a little bit over a year, you're gonna be speaking a fluent foreign language. That's crazy.
Cover about 3 years of college level language. So by the time we're done in our 63 weeks, then we're pretty fluent in a lot of different areas.
That's crazy.
And it moves by really fast at great intensity. There's a saying among students that sums up the experience: drinking from a fire hose. And perhaps like a lot of other language courses, the cultural aspect of the language is taken very, very seriously.
We teach language to a very high proficiency level, near native proficiency. And we teach it in a very short period of time. It's a very intense class, very difficult academically. And part of that is to learn about the culture, because you really can't operate at high levels in the language unless you understand the culture. How can you understand the humor between the lines?
I believe that is absolutely true. If you know the culture, it'd be easier to learn the language they speak.
It's essential to know all these things. So, first things first, if you've been accepted into the military and hope to be a linguist, or if your job requires you to be a linguist, you go to the DLR. You'll be between the ages of 17 and 35, and most likely from the Army. But you may also be from the Navy, Marine Corps, or Air Force. You may perhaps also be a Green Beret sent you from Fort Bragg for additional language training. But before you get anywhere near the DLI, you first have to take a proficiency test, and it's called the DLAB, Defense Language Aptitude Battery. If you pass, you'll be put in a language category based on how well you did. It could be an easy category, like French, or a more difficult category, like Russian. And this bit is interesting. Even if you already know a language, or you've studied it to a decent level before, or even you're fluent in a second language, there's no guarantee that you'll pass the DLAB test. Why? Because the test itself doesn't test your ability in a specific language, it tests your brain's ability to learn a new language on the fly. And it's very clever. The test is based on a made-up language. So at least you can't cheat.
Talking it over with my recruiter at the time, I took a second battery of tests called the DLAB, which is the Defense Language Aptitude Battery, and that tests your ability to learn languages. So it's all.
So you gotta learn this made-up language. Ain't no real shit, but it does have phonics and basic.
And they're looking for pattern recognition and whether
You
you
gotta
can
say
work
basic
out
patterns.
structures and word recognition and that sort of thing. And if you have a high enough score in that test, then you qualify for the linguist job.
Interesting, right? The logic of this will become clearer as you watch the rest of the video. And as I mentioned earlier, you can take this entrance test too, even as a civilian. I'll show you how you can do that later. And the other thing that civilians can do is subscribe to this channel. It's quite a bit easier than the entrance exam. Just gotta click one button.
And remember why you're here, why you're learning language. You're in the military. You're not here to just pass, get your certificate and your diploma. One day, someone's going to be relying on you and the intelligence you provide to shape their operations.
Hi, we're Woodruff.
It makes you want to move.
Oh my god! You passed the entry test. You're in. What happens next? Well, it's time you made our second part done. Jack, not his real
All the straight lines are pretty straight. Now I can just fuck them up again when I try to brush it. Like I always do.
It varies a little bit branch to branch. You go through your original basic training, and then in basic training, they give you a dream sheet. And they say, these are all the languages currently being taught. Rank your top 6.
And you don't find out what language you get until the end of basic training. Sometime in the middle, you fill out some paperwork. You explain your
appreciate it, man.
What languages you
Thank you
are
very much.
interested in learning, and they look at those. And then they look
All right, so now I need to get some acrylic paint, and we're gonna outline this in some acrylic and tone the canvas, and then after that we're going to load up the palette here and work on. I'm really feeling the composition of this. Yo, Laura Croft.
Did she get what she wanted? Yes, actually. Before joining, I had discovered Korean music, and I had really fallen in love with the sound of the language and everything. And so that was on the top of my list. And I was just
I feel like I've got into a nice little stride with these still lifes. I say something I've once again, man, I think about shit for years before I do it. Like when I first started my Teapot series of still lifes, it was a while before I actually started painting the teapots. And then I don't know, once I did a couple of teapots, I really enjoyed doing those types of still lifes. They look pretty good, and I've actually sold a couple of them. I still have a couple left though. I have one downstairs and one is on display right now. And then so I haven't done like still lifes in years, but I always thought about, all right, so if I do these still lifes again, I'm not gonna do like teapots and vases and fruits. I'm gonna do like some other shit, like I don't know. Like I said, I've kind of seen like other types of still lifes, and then it's still a bunch of traditional stuff. People do like skulls or books or I don't know, but it's like I'm just trying to use a different imagery in my still lifes and still kind of like get the art to say something. Because like, okay, a bowl of fruit is nice, but what does that say? Nothing. It just says, oh, a pretty painting. Bowl of fruit, pretty painting. That's all that shit says. But the still lifes I have, I'm trying to say something. It's kind of weird, but just really subtle stuff. And I think that I have like a pretty unique collection of little things, just like really odd stuff that a lot of people don't really know about, like my book collection, and that's why I try to implement a bunch of my literature in the art, because a lot of people don't know about it. And I'm a big fan of anime. A lot of people don't know about anime. Even like some pretty good artists aren't big on anime. Exactly. Exactly. An artist don't paint with his hands. He paints with his mind. And so I lost my train of thought. But I was actually just trying to use the contents of the still life to say something. Even if even if it's like, oh well, check out this movie, or and these right here, like the last two I'm doing is kind of a technology transition, where it has like old technology and new technology. It's a theme that I've been playing on a little bit before in another painting. Um, exactly, it should be able to tell a little bit of something. And so in this still life, I have some very traditional art supplies, your brush and paints and a canvas and a camera and like paper towels and stuff. And then we have like this very, very new way of creating art, where it's just like this tablet and this pencil, or even just using your phone, and you don't need like all of this stuff anymore. And so it's the juxtaposition from like an older, more traditional way of producing art to how a lot of people actually produce art now. And now this NFT thing is all crazy, and so I'm just trying to capture that concept within the still life, and just having like older techniques right beside newer techniques. So now I need to set up some water. I need some water. Oh, I still had that brush that I was trying to bring back to life. I actually need to see how that's working out real quick, so it's not sitting in that thing too much longer. I almost forgot about that. Alright. I really think like today or tomorrow, I have a little bit more time left to apply for this grant. I'm gonna update my grant portfolio and try for it again. One of the guys who actually approves the grant, he sent me a personal email telling me like little things that I could do to rewrite my grant to make it more appealing to the rest of the people who judge for it. And so I'll read his email one more time and try to update that shit. But with COVID and everything, we still haven't done a lot this year. What was I doing? I got to put my brush on. as good as it gonna get. I got so many brushes over there. I went to go grab this one the other day to use it. Yo, this shit was stiff as a fucking brick, yeah.
Oh, hello. I've been out here in Vegas. I went to Angel Schultz's wedding, and Whitney Cummings.
I said it's about as good as it's gonna get.
That's freedom. And then we went to Vegas, and got a little drunk. Now I'm not drunk. I'm wide awake, and I'm drinking coffee. But
why you do the man like that, yo? Joe Rogan is crazy.
Not.
Damn. Yo, that nigga been knocked out, yo. Yeah, I can't even imagine trying to drink with Joe Rogan. Fuck that. Honestly, I don't give a fuck who I'm drinking with. I'm still drink the same way I normally drink. I'm gonna have like a couple of shots or a couple of beers, and that's it. Like, I'm way past that peer pressure shit, yo. Oh, man, have another one, man. No, I'm good. Ah, come on, man, don't be such a pussy. No, I'm good. I'm good. I don't like throwing up. I don't like passing out, falling asleep in front of motherfucking none of that shit, bro. I'm alright. I'm straight. Too much drink make me sleepy. Y'all ain't about to have me on some stupid shit.
So when did you guys go open for? Do you mean all pop in here right now? Already they talked to me then. So how old is the kids that supposed to be coming here right now? You sure about it? I'm gonna inform you on something? I'm gonna inform you on something. The people that you was talking to was me the whole time.
Well, it's
So I
soft.
know exactly what we said.
And I can't.
Just let you know that.
I mean, there's still an ass
before
of
you
paint
start
in the
lying,
middle of this thing.
but lying makes me call the police. Just to understand that. Where you from? Wilmington, New York. What is your name? Greg. Craig. How old are you? 59 years old. And what was the plan on? First of all, how old did those kids take over? About 15. About 15. And what did you say right after that? Let's see. I don't care. Yeah, you don't care. So is this your first time? No, it can't be your first time. Because you said you didn't even, that don't bother you. You don't care about that. Listen, I'm gonna see what exactly what you said.
Crazy. 59 years old, about to get two 15-year-olds. I'm only 15. I don't care.
This is a shame.
That's wild. That's your response. At least the other dude had this smart enough to say, "You ain't no cop, is it?" Because you have to tell me if you the cop. That's entrapment. Nah, that shit don't work like
Or
that.
offering anonymous DJ in my hotel room at Mohegan Sun.
Damn, he done that Mohegan Sun. About to get freaky tonight.
They said, and I said, what you look like? He said, that doesn't bother me, but can't get in a hotel, get in the hotel I'm at. And I'm old enough to
But this,
be your
are these the
father.
motherfuckers that be on these dating sites? Like,
why would you think that this was alright to be messing around with this 15-year-old child?
yeah, man. And look at you, nasty, fat, old ass nigga. Why would you even imagine, like, oh, you staying at the Mohegan Sun? You must be on trick. I'll pay you whatever you want.
It didn't bother you.
I give you whatever you want.
You just say things. You have your phone?
Your old ass, how you even know to download these apps and all that shit? You touch that shit, old man.
Not them pictures. See your regular pictures.
You're nasty.
Yeah. What up, bro?
That's no, not yourself, like anybody else. You got pictures of anybody else in there. You're 59 years old. Who are you close with? You have kids? Married?
Call your daughter.
Who are you close with? Siblings?
I'm the only person left. I ain't got no family, no nothing. My kids don't talk to me no more. Because I used to rape them when they were little.
Oh my God.
Yeah, good boy, bro.
Yeah.
Listening to the local vigilante.
She was knocked out, yo.
Oh damn.
She was like playing dead.
There was supposed to be 2 kids. Supposed to come in.
She's awake halfway though, because her ears are still up.
Then that one leaves out, then the next one comes in and gets put. Yeah, that's what
What
you
did you
do.
Tyson? How you feeling?
It's supposed to be a 16 and a 15 year old. You did. I'll tell you.
It's not the other one, bro. I'm sitting here telling you, I'm the same person the whole time. So there's no way you're gonna lie your way out of this. Alright, so this was my little water cut, but now I got this fucking paint cleaner shit in there.
Think of all you've made colorful cakes to light as masterpieces. Join so they can make more of what they love. And you can feast on members-only goodies, like secret banana cake recipes. Who knows? It's up to them and you. Join the channel, give first, and show the love. Michael's Mega Clearance Event.
Make it do.
Up to 80% off Christmas. Art supplies.
Oh, that is one thing that I want to do. Just once. Because I don't do shit like that. I just want to smoke a doobie with like, I don't know how many grams of weed in it.
But I did say 8 15.
Just to say I did it.
And the plan was to come here.
I gotta figure out as many ways to be wasteful.
What's the point?
I'm not gonna be like those guys that have those big, supersized doobies that they can't even
Yo,
smoke and they
then the
just
one
burning weed. They just burning weed and wasting
Yo,
it.
but the one dude had this long doobie, right? And they roll that shit tight or nothing, and like
The shit burned all the way up.
no, all the weed fell out the motherfucker, yo. Like, yo, they had to have like at least a fucking ounce in this bitch, yo. This shit was fat, yo.
See, now when I'm saying
And
I
then
want
he-
that, I
he-
want like 5 grams.
Yeah, he had it up, like pointing up. He was trying to light it. He couldn't get the shit lit. And then as soon as he like tilted his head down, like all the fucking bud fell out the damn doobie. Like, bruh, you just wasted. Oh, well, you ain't wasted, but get that shit up off the carpet.
I'm glad it wasn't that.
Yeah, or if you just put too much in there, like I said, and you just burning it. But
No,
like 3 to 5 grams in a doobie, we could do that and not feel bad about it.
the most I've ever done was fucking. I stuffed a Dutch one time, man. And that shit was like way more weed than I thought it was gonna take, yo.
Yeah, I've smoked a backwood that had 3 grams in it, 3.5 grams in it. That's the most I've ever done. Cause anything beyond that is just like, yo, you just wasteful as fuck.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm saying. Like I've done 3.5. Now I want to do like 4 or 5 grams in a doobie and just. But I say that now.
Yeah, but our local
Did the brush come back to life?
for the most part, man. That's as good as it gonna get. But like I say, this shit was stiff like a rock. This shit was fucking rock hard, bro. But now, you know, it can actually bend and flex. Like, yo, I couldn't, yo. The other day, bro, this brush wasn't doing none of that shit. But I don't know. I think that's about as good as it's gonna get. But I just needed this is more or less a medium-sized brush. They cover larger areas of the background and shit. Like,
You was paying attention because you responded.
I know. I remember this. I don't have a lot of these clear handle brushes, y'all. I used to use it a lot. Then the one time I just left paint in it and fucked that bitch up. And I've been telling myself ever since, you need to clean that brush out. Like I said, there's still a lot of paint in there. I'll probably use it, and then after I use it, might try to put it back in that cleaner one more time, or use a different. I do have a different solvent somewhere, yo. I was looking for it. I cannot find it. But it might be in there, in that little cubby. But I'll try to find that shit, because that's a good ass brush. And that shit was like, that's like a $10, $12 brush, yo. Alright, so I got water and paint and picture. That's all I need right now.
The new iPhone Pro is only $9.99.
Should I call police?
Yeah. Before trading, and then when I trade this phone in, I'm eligible for an upgrade. I'm trying to figure out what I want to get.
They're getting cheaper and
You don't
cheaper.
believe in what?
Thank you.
It kinda came back, yeah.
You think this is a statement? Like,
Guess what? My mom got an
This is
iPhone.
what I'm gonna say.
What you doing with that shit?
Babe, I done asked her every year for the past 3 years to get an iPhone so we could FaceTime, and she finally did. She's like, we can do it on Facebook. I'm like, Ma, that don't work. We need FaceTime. So she was eligible for an upgrade and finally decided to get an iPhone. So now everybody's, and my stepdad got one too. So both of them been Androids forever. Now they both got iPhones. And my brother and his wife got 2 iPhones. I'm like, man, I'm getting my upgrade. Y'all got
And I
me
know
fucked
that
up.
you realize it. The way you answer it, that I know you realize that big and everything. It's how you read something, you say, well, that doesn't matter to me. That tells me right here, you responded to that.
Okay, so what this guy does, he gets on
Well, don't you bother me, what's up?
oh yeah, the white one looks nice. He gets on these dating apps, and then he poses as if he's a underage kid,
I'm not a cop, I can't arrest.
and he just catches fucking pedophiles, yo.
I'm just giving
And he just exposes their ass and throw them on social media, yo. The whole interaction he has with them. And the other day I watched him catch one. He was like 256 or something odd people he didn't expose. Man, he didn't expose the teacher, a male teacher at the elementary school too, yo. He exposed a cop, and like some other like city worker or something like that. Somebody you think like, come on, man, you should have more morals than that. You work around the public and kids and shit, yeah. But he be catching motherfuckers from out of town and shit.
What type of stuff that you was telling me?
Truck drivers be staying in town, get hotels and shit, get right on the apps, trying to find little kids to prey on. A bunch of local people, he still be surprised. Like the one guy he caught is like, man, you local nigga. He was like in Wilkes-Barre. He's like, bruh, you ain't heard about me yet? I can't believe y'all local dudes still be trying it now. Y'all still be trying it.
Yo, and
No, I'm out here.
once again, it's bad no matter what the gender is. Even if these kids were like 17 or 18, like you're like 50 years old, but the men that are coming to meet up with the little boys are the worst and the nastiest.
Yo.
They don't care.
No.
The ones coming to meet the little girls, they be like, oh, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. Like the one dude, and they called his parents. He called his parents.
Mm-hmm.
And he was sorry about trying to meet up with a little girl. But the ones that come to meet the little boys, they won't even be caring. They just be like, you who? You what? I'm going to call the police on you for calling the police on me. Like, what?
No remorse.
That's what I'm saying. Like, they just not even right in their heads.
Yeah, I was gonna fuck the shit out this little 15-year-old boy.
Right. Like, I just noticed that. All the ones coming to meet the boys are extra sick. Like, and then they have wives at home.
Yeah.
So you don't like women and you a pedophile.
I actually no, bro. You actually believe
You actually
that it was a kid coming to see you. And what 15-year-old kid is gonna go to a hotel at the fucking casino without looking all weird and shit?
They
Like,
ID you at the casino.
come on, exactly.
I couldn't even
like,
get a job at the casino when I was under 21, working there as a massage therapist because they didn't want people under 21 in the casino.
period. At all.
Right. So they were like, look, you're qualified, you're whatever, but like you gotta wait till next year till you turn 21 because you're gonna get hassled every fucking day. So I'm sure shit is not that much different now. I'm sure they still ID people going into the casino. We old though. We don't get ID'd really anymore. I don't get ID'd anymore. I be kind of offended. Like, you're not gonna ask. Look that up.
Yeah, my carding days are over. I mean, when I was in my mid late 30s, motherfuckers still getting carded.
Now
it's just like, nope, nigga, you old, nigga.
There was the one time that we went out and she asked for my ID and didn't ask for yours, remember?
Yeah.
And I'm like, first of all, I'm with him. Second of all, here, bitch.
You make right now 270 per month. Okay.
270.
You
It's still counting, yeah. This nigga the other night, he caught 2 in one night.
Somebody just wanted to black out on. I can't be sorry.
MUSAFIED. Look that up. Tell me what it means. Can you read it out to me? Tell me what it says. USAFIED. And that's what this is called right now. Yes. Yeah, that's it. Yeah,
They be treating these people like kids. Look this up. Read that out loud. Do some push-ups. Who you close to? Your mom?
I just will never forget the one where they called that boy parents.
Call
His dad was
your
like,
mom.
I'ma fuck you up. Yo, his dad was not playing. I know his dad fucked him up when he got home.
What you reading?
But then they make you wonder, well, how calm the mom was. Do they be knowing? They be trying to protect their kids, knowing their kids is pedophiles.
I don't know. If my kid was a pedophile, I can't protect you, my nigga.
That's what I'm saying.
I don't know if you need medicine
Now,
or...
I'm gonna say this: if my child, female or male, was a pedophile, would I not love them? I'm always gonna love my child, but that would be the point where I would have to lose respect for you as a person because you're an adult. Yeah, like if you can't keep yourself away, you need to be locked away. Just like all the new sex dolls that they're making, and they're like, oh, if you're a pedophile, you can just buy a kid's sex doll. I'm like, yeah, until you get bored and decide you want something that actually talks back. Like, what the fuck?
I didn't even know there was a thing. You just buy little kid dolls now.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's disgusting. Like everybody who buys them, we need to go to their house. I need to see your basement.
Why don't you just find a midget? A dork. You know, they have a
Or
child.
one of the people that like are like Benjamin Buttons types, like, you know.
Yeah, they have a childlike body.
Yeah. But that's the thing. It's a psychological thing. Like they're just. Big part of it is that the child's naive and that they have full control, and they're just sick.
I said, listen.
Like there's people that
When I walked in the room,
went through shit that turned out fine, and then there's other ones that turn out and be just like the people that did the shit to them.
I just said if the kid like
Tyson said when I was 15 I was not getting carded. I guess it was because I hung out with older people. Maybe that's what it is, Tyson. I just blame it on me being with Travis is why I don't get carded anymore. But the one time the lady tried it. It's like, you gonna ask me for my ID too, or what?
Transparent today. Like that, when I walked through the door, you said turn on lights back.
I used to get carded all the time, yeah.
Yeah, but my thing was to come right here in front.
I didn't used to get carded for tobacco and stuff, but I always got carded in the liquor store. Our local liquor store never has asked for my ID, not once. But it was during COVID when everybody wore masks, and they're like, fuck it, are you gonna buy this liquor or not?
Talking about the lights out, like after sex and stuff like that, yeah, maybe. But not like, everyone just had the lights off, just needed somebody to walk in, just had the lights off. That's a blowing up.
A blowing up?
That's what this was supposed to be, the blowing up. That's what was discussed.
Tyson said when they thought I was with G Unit.
You said that they couldn't do you.
That's what they thought. They said what? I don't need what no smoke.
That nigga.
But ain't you famous?
He from New York. Hey.
Listen, I'm
See, so when people are staring at you extra hard now, you know why.
You already know why. They like, is that?
Is it? I don't want to be crazy.
No, I don't think so. But he showed who looked like that nigga.
Floyd Banks.
Not Floyd Banks.
Floyd Banks. To try to take some of that up my ass. So you, if you had the cleaning kit, you was willing for this kid to have sex with you. I know, because you ain't had your cleaning kit. So what would have been a reason why you wanted her to do it?
You can tell too, because they come in with these random names.
Oh, it was too big? It was too big for you? You said you wanted to try it though. You didn't mean what you said. It was too big.
I didn't. I said I would maybe try it. Whatever, man.
Although, you know what? The one tobacco store around the corner, I just thought about it. They scan IDs for all purchases.
Everybody.
They don't discriminate.
Yeah.
If you don't have an ID, you're not getting shit.
Cause they still ask me for my ID and that shit too.
Why did you want to see that?
Don't discriminate.
Yeah, not trying to lose their license.
Nope.
Let me see
and the people that work in there don't be the brightest bulb, so they like, look,
This is mandatory, exactly. Just do it every time, no matter what.
So if it doesn't excite you,
Cause little shops like that be the main one to get hit with some mystery shoppers, some dumbass shit. Trying to shut down the hood businesses.
Like, y'all take too long to count and figure out birthdays. All they gotta do is give them a sign and say if they were born before this date.
So what happened? You wanted to see how
Tyson said, yo, I had CBD for the first time.
Oh wow.
I had it too, it's alright.
Yeah, how was it? How did it what was your experience with it, man? Like,
I'm guessing from the it was alright.
one of my homies told me he tried DMT for the first time.
What? For real?
Yeah, my homie Noah.
How was it?
He said he don't think he did enough. He was being real cautious with it and just tried a little bit.
Understandable.
Me too. Like, yeah.
But I'm not, I think, like, weed is the best thing, but, like, I'm not against people doing natural DMT or, like, mushrooms or whatever, like, once in their lifetime to try it.
I'm not here to rush.
Like, I wouldn't even, like,
and the CBD.
Where do you even find a DMT dealer?
Exactly.
Can I get some DMT? Somebody give me some DMT and will be like, I don't even know, I don't want to take this.
But your CBD, was it like edible, like a gummy, or did you smoke it, or was it like some oils, or what? One of my homies had hard candies, gummy candies, the little weed-looking shit.
He said it was straight, no cotton mouth afterwards.
You smoked that shit,
you smoked it. I have the drops for under my tongue, and honestly, like, I smoke too much for it to do anything for me, but if you do it with smoking, it does give you more of a body high. Like, that's the only thing I could say the CBD does is just relax your body, but because I smoke so much, like I said, I need so much of it.
It was a crime, but you did. It was a felony.
He says smoke.
Multiple.
Where do you get it? Like, you just bought it from a grocery store or something?
That man
They sell it everywhere.
Got that shit from the gas station.
Right. You got that Delta. The good kind.
See, that's the best part about living down south, boy. Just buy that shit. You know what I'm saying? Right next to your boiled peanuts.
There you go.
I ain't gonna lie, I fucked up last time I went home, yo. I mean, it was for some other shit, but I ain't getting no peanuts or no ginger beer. Last time I went home. It never happened again. That'd be like one of my main priorities. You was with yourself or you was with some homies? Smoking that shit, man? Out there smoking them drugs, boy. Oh, he done call the cops on this nigga.
No, I'm anything like that. I just don't want to say it right now because I'm live.
They have a store named the Hemp Spot.
The Hemp Spot?
That's
Oh, what's Harris?
I'm telling you, man. Once they flood the market and just take that shit off the drug list, man, and get them hemp products back out there, yeah, it's a whole different cash crop for this country, man. Hemp can be made from soft to hard. You can make clothes out that shit, or you can make bricks out that shit.
hemp lotion.
You can make concrete, anything. Them hemp fibers, yo, that shit's so versatile, yo. The oils, everything.
No, I got my mask. I ain't got no COVID.
I ain't got no COVID. I ain't got no. Very improper English, man. I don't have
Don't do that.
any.
I be speaking slang like a motherfucker, and I'm still
I already
smoking.
videoed the encounter. Yeah, his name is
I don't got no.
I don't got no COVID.
That's double negatives.
I don't got no COVID. You heard what I said? I don't got none.
I forget that nigga from Jersey.
50-year-old child. He was saying his chest was starting to hurt, so I laid off him and left out of there.
His chest starting to hurt. I'm about to have a heart attack.
Like stopped talking to him and everything. I didn't want to stress the situation and him wind up having a heart attack or something because he is 59 years old.
Man, if you can't handle
I'm
that,
smarter than the cops, though. The cops don't know how to stop.
if you can't handle that stress, nigga, then you don't need a blowjob.
Wow.
This nigga ain't nothing but asking you some questions about your deviant. Gotta catch him up, pedo man. That nigga is stupid. And then I know the police department be getting tired of his ass now. We got another one. Moosa's is on South Side. Say he got some motherfucker. Who? Moosa. You know, the Luzerne County predator catcher. Pedoman?
Hippoman. Oh, Hippoman? Y'all think about that Hippoman?
He said, Jason said I'll send you the link. And Shaman said, what up, what up?
Yo, Shaman. What's good, bro?
What's good, my guy, Twist?
Yo, Tyson, how long you been in North Carolina now? Like a couple years, ain't it? A year?
Tyson MC.
I gotta stay upstairs, so I make them come all the way upstairs, you know what I'm saying? So if I was downstairs, they'd be like, oh, I can't come up.
Motherfucker move down south. Boy, that shit changes his life.
I'm staying up here, you know? So I keep the footage from here. You feel? I see what I do for y'all. Thank you. I've been having some good ones lately. I haven't had any
He said since 2017.
2017?
I like all the pull-offs. Face the music.
Alright, that was a year before I moved here.
I'm trying to set records. I don't know. I guess. You know, what is the record? What? Like who has all the catches? Planes on scene? Okay. Okay, thanks for the info. Appreciate that. Appreciate it.
He been down there so long, he really think he from North Carolina. I know how it be, man. Motherfuckers start saying Bo. Start eating crawfish and shit. Shit be different, man.
Yeah, or if you dating one, they start rubbing off on you.
Should be different, though.
Eating fish early in the morning.
Motherfucker have
Fish ain't for breakfast.
Motherfucker have fish and grits for breakfast. Ain't
We
never
had grits twice in 4 days.
ain't never ate grits before. North Carolina, oh, grits all day, nigga.
Before you go down south, you be eating sugar grits. You come back, you be talking about, don't put no sugar in my grits. When the last time you see me eat sugar grits?
Never.
Exactly. Motherfuckers from down south be rubbing off, yo. Tyson says shrimp and grits for him.
There you go. See, he get fancy. A grit? What the fuck is a grit?
A grit. Grit ball. Tyson said chicken and waffles and sweet tea.
There you go.
Yeah, chicken and waffles, that hit different. Now that I can. Shama said they aren't gonna know what that artifact you're drawing is.
Damn.
The camera.
Like, what the fuck is that?
I think I seen one of those before, but
What is? What'd you do with that? You take pictures with it? You mean like your phone? Like, well, yeah, but you couldn't call nobody with it.
wow, this is what we need, some hanging racks, yo. I really like that.
What? See, that's why you need to stay out the metaverse. Every time you go in there, you think you need some shit.
I'm not even on the metaverse. I'm in Pinterest right now.
Same thing. It's a part of the metaverse. What the fuck?
Is it? Hold on, let me close up.
You know, it's not gonna be the internet anymore. It's the metaverse. The internet is the metaverse. As soon as you log in, you hack in. Ain't you just watched The Matrix? Damn.
Tyson said, "What? You don't have a phone for pictures?" LOL.
What the fuck is it? The fuck is a camera? Camera?
On my camera phone. Look though, this is nice. Alright. I'll keep looking for one you do that.
That shit is in the way, is what it is.
I'm short, so not really.
Yeah.
Alright, I'll keep looking.
No, you don't need to do that.
Organization. Well, I think my dog would like to go outside anyway, so we're gonna go do that. Let me check the temperature before I leave. A winter weather advisory.
Oh shit.
Next hour precipitation, flurries for the next hour up until 2 o'clock.
As long as it don't snow. I gotta
No,
go.
it's gonna snow.
Oh man. I gotta grab my art tomorrow.
Yeah, it's gonna snow and then it's gonna rain from 5 p.m. all the way to 12 tonight.
Oh.
And then it's gonna rain tomorrow, Wednesday, and Thursday.
Alright. As long as it don't freeze up and get no ice out that bitch.
Well, the temperature's going back up to 37 tomorrow.
Oh yeah,
so.
we'll be good then.
But it's 32 degrees right now.
It's still pretty good. I say, as long as that shit ain't fucking freezing, 31 degrees is freezing. So you.
I thought it was 32 is when the snow starts sticking.
Yeah, but it ain't gonna really stick because the weather hasn't been cold enough to make the ground cold. So as long as the ground is still pretty warm, they gonna have to have
I don't know though. It snowed the other day and we didn't think we were gonna get it. Remember?
Yeah, and it was gone that afternoon.
Yeah, I mean.
Everything's still warm. Like now, if we had 20.
The temperature is gonna go back up and it's gonna rain, so
Exactly.
it's mostly gonna wash away. But for the next couple of hours, it's gonna be nasty.
Yeah.
So maybe me and her aren't going anywhere if it's raining.
It gotta be like in the low 30s and 20s for a couple days, and then snow. Then that shit will stick. As long as we stay like 32, 33 degrees and get some snow, that shit ain't gonna stick. Cause the ground ain't cold
When I
enough.
asked you to come out with me because it was snowing, it was nasty out. Like when you went to turn out of the driveway, I'm like, oh, if we were in my car, I would have already been fucking fished out. I already know, like, especially on hills and shit. When it snows around here, I don't even drive my car. Like, luckily to go to my job is a bunch of just like left turns and go straight. He said, here comes the snow and slush, black ice.
Yeah, I say, man, as long as the temperatures stay like 34, 35 degrees, it'll be alright.
Yeah. Shaman said 32 degrees is the freezing point of water. Yeah, that's what I
32?
thought. But, you know, he is right. Once it hits like 31, 30, or lower than that, I would say like between 28 and 30. that's when like that ice and shit starts to form, and then if it's been cold, but it did melt right away the other day. But it was nasty. It's been mild so far, but
Yeah, it's been a kind of decent little mild winter.
but we still got January, February, and March.
And March, so we might get that shit in the tail end because February is normally the worst.
February is terrible.
Yeah, February did not play around this bitch, yo.
Tyson said I was just talking to my sister, and y'all sounded like I thought I was tripping.
Damn. Every blizzard they talk about, that shit always happen in February. There's like 2 blizzards, like all the old heads can really remember. Both of us in February.
Shaman said in Denver there better be like 6 inches of snow on the ground before you cannot go to work.
You know what? They don't play that shit up there, man.
In PA still like you gonna have about 3 inches on the ground and they still gonna be like, can you make it?
Yeah.
But if you reach 3 or 4, they might.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like around here, they do got hella fucking salt trucks and shit. Yeah.
Oh yeah, they gets it done.
And they be out early. That's because they want motherfuckers to still go to work, yo.
Tyson said we get a dusting and we shut down.
That's it, bro.
Down south, but different. They be like snow, cold,
Flurries? Oh my god.
rainstorms. Yo, I ain't never seen people drive so motherfucking slow till I seen it really rain down south. I'm like, the hell wrong with y'all? Y'all can't drive in the rain?
Nah, they don't play that shit, man. You sure driving fast. You must be in a rush to get somewhere.
Yeah, I know my car can handle this little bit of rain. I'm from Maryland. Like, the fuck? And the roads be so nice down south. Their highways be so much nicer. Like, what? I'm out. Tyson said it's not enough salt trucks. Understandable.
That's it. There ain't shit down there. I remember growing up, like, I swear to God, yo, like, until I left South Carolina when I was 19. And all those years, it snowed like maybe 3 times. And each time was just like an inch of snow maybe. Throughout my entire fucking life down there, yo. You get like a little half an inch of snow. They shut the city down for 2 days and that's it. Like I never saw saw a snow shovel until I moved back up this bitch.
That's crazy.
It's like, what the fuck is that?
I've seen shovels my whole life.
It's a snow shovel. Like,
I remember too being a kid in Maryland having much worse blizzards. Like, I mean, we had a blizzard one year that like it was so hot you couldn't even get out your front door. Like you were literally like trapped in your house.
that's what they say about here. It was like the blizzard in 96 or 97.
It was, yeah, there was one in like 97 and then there was one in the early 2000s. And our power was out. Like, it was a very bad, I was really young, but it was a very bad blizzard and everything was out. Like, Maryland, I think Virginia maybe, definitely PA. Shama said salt is optional, like on food. Salt to your own pace.
Shit, when I was growing up, hurricanes was our biggest concern. We ain't had to worry about no fucking snowstorms.
And I never seen my first hurricane till I got old. Always gotta follow.
What's good, y'all? What's up, man? 270 right here. 270, 277, 270. Oh, he's here. He's from Jameson. I think, when he told me, I think that's the only person I caught him here in the building. Really, he's the only person. I think so. I'm not sure. I might have caught somebody else in here. I'm not sure. I think I might have caught somebody else in here. Well, I came here one time, and it was the wrong hotel. It was, he said he was at the hotel by the casino, but he was.
What up, y'all? What's the strain of the day? What y'all smoking?
The one that's over.
Travis will be right back. Had to take a quick bathroom break. Get down. Get down. Big. Big. Can you let me out real quick?
You too lazy to go down there?
I mean, you were already downstairs.
No, it's on the second floor. It's not downstairs.
Inspired by State Farm's surprisingly great rates. It's so cheap. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there. Can't see around that corner. I thought I was gonna be able to see around the corner. Can't see around the corner. I tried to get a little peeky, sneaky, a little peeky peek. I couldn't get around the corner with a sneaky sneak. I tried. Well, around the corner real fast. It wasn't gonna work. It wasn't working fast. I think I ran. I was going to die already.
Yeah, my internet's been weird as shit for the past couple of days, yo.
How was the problem? I tried to get a little sneaky around the corner. You feel me? A little sneaky. But I don't want to blow it up. You know what I'm saying? I understand stomach, getting things right.
Yeah, that's crazy. Normally if I post a reel, like, I don't know, like when I posted this one, I don't get no fucking views. I found like the sweet spot was like 5 o'clock in the morning. If I post a reel at 5, I'll get a lot of fucking views on that shit. I just posted a reel like an hour ago. Well, how long I've been here? I've been here about 2 hours.
2 hours.
So I posted a reel like a little bit over an hour ago, and that shit already got 6 views.
This is the first message I get. Is it just from today? Yeah, just from today. And just so this way? Yeah, this way.
So maybe my my reels are getting picked up by the algorithm more often now.
Hey, you remember that other one, right?
Yeah, that shirt on.
Oh yeah. That was at the other hotel, right? The micro hotel? Yeah, the micro. That was the one that was a trucker. He was only here for business. That was a trucker.
Yeah, all the cops know him now, yo. He was the guy who came to the other hotel when I got the other guy.
Yeah, he's there right at that house there. Or somebody else, oh, yeah.
And that's the thing, like how he gets motherfuckers. He says that the profile says it's 18, right? Whoever that he poses as the kid. On the profile link it says 18. But then he says he gets in conversations with him and he's like, okay, I gotta tell you the truth, I'm not really 18, I'm only 15. And then it's the people who still go for it is the ones he get.
Facebook jail. And I don't get like 3 days, I get like a month, 90 days, 6 months and stuff like that. I'm like, yo, by the time I come back around, that I'm off of it. A lot of people are disinterested, and that's why I just post like pictures just for pictures. Yeah, that's why I'm all on YouTube now. On Facebook, man, I used to have like 1,500 people watching my live.
Well, Facebook banned him for touching pedophiles. That's crazy.
They shut my whole Facebook down. They shut my YouTube channel down. They shut my TikTok channel down. They shut my Instagram channel down. Every platform that I get on, I shut down. Trinity violations. They say it's harassment or privacy strike because I guess somebody go put a privacy strike on something like that.
But he still does it anyway. They took him off all the platforms, tried to silence him, saying you're invading people's privacy. No, these motherfuckers trying to rape kids, and I'm trying to help catch them. Now he says that YouTube is his only platform he can be on right now.
Yeah, those pictures of him on this side. I know what's in that court next month. Yeah, we start trial next month.
Oh damn, my bad, y'all.
I didn't go to the preliminary hearing.
Tyson said nothing after work, and Shaman said SOTD OG Kush.
Not the classic. They never get old.
Oh, strain of the day, my dumb ass. I'm like, SOTD. What kind of strain is this?
Classic, yeah, classic strain. That's like one of the first real popular hybrids that was coming out of Cali back in the day. Motherfuckers told you they had that OG Kush, you should be expecting some shit like, oh, that's that real weed. Once again, like, weed done changed so much, yo. I might have to do that, yo. Like, do like a picture of an old bag of weed like we used to get, the little teeny nick bags, and you can like see the seeds in it, and then like the weed that they sell you now.
All the different colors.
Yeah, hit me with copyright. I thought it was gonna hit me with one. And I had to fix it, so y'all, you want to do it all a lot, yeah, I'll do it.
Is it already snowing? It is?
It's not sticking, but it's snowing.
Yeah.
It's like sleety snow.
Yeah, see them leaves out there, they just keep getting wet and heavy and sloshy. Yeah. Next time it's dry, it's like real dry, I gotta get them leaves up, cause it's just killing the grass underneath that shit.
Well, since you can't go nowhere, I guess you're gonna get some videos, babies. You need some videos.
Yeah.
Yo, my still lifes is popping, son. I don't know how. Like, I ain't gonna say I'm a genius, but like, man, I be doing that shit, man. You know what I'm saying? Trying to just stay creative, man. Pushing this creativity forwards to the forefront, man. You know what I'm saying? Making the simple complex, making the complex very simple, very easy to understand. A picture worth 1,000 words. I done told 1,000,000 stories.
Shaman said we called it Bammer weed or swag.
Wow, not the Bama weed. You smoking that swag. Smoking that swag, that garbage.
That garbage.
You ain't got that garbage?
Yeah, let me get a handful for $5. I'm glad that I started off smoking
that swag, yeah.
That Zaza. I hate that it's called that, but it kind of works.
That dun-dun-dun.
Dun-dun-dun.
You used to smoke that dun-dun-dun weed, nigga. That shit like. But then once again, like, I honestly believe like newer, younger pot smokers are definitely having more mental and psychological issues because they're starting off smoking such potent marijuana that's not found in nature. It doesn't grow like this naturally. And we were able to experience like normal cannabis, like just regular cannabis in its normal state. And that's why it had seeds in it, because it's the fruit of the plant, it's the female part of the plant, you know. And now they don't need it, it's so altered and so fucking hibernated and shit that and don't even have seeds in it no more. It's like you gotta keep cloning it. Now you can't even like really find seeds. You just gotta clone the plants you have and clone and clone and clone, and then you crossbreed and hybrid and clone it some more. And these plants don't even produce seeds. It's the weirdest thing. The same thing they did with our fruit, and like now our fruits, a lot of them don't produce seeds. It's not natural at all. It just isn't. And so like I said, I think we're definitely like we're lucky that we were able to know what weed used to be and like how weed was, and then we kind of got weaned onto it. And now if you've been smoking weed for, a decade or so, then you already have like a tolerance that came from like the more simpler organic strands of weed. But I can even imagine like now if I started out and the first thing I smoked was some fucking headbanger bubblegum boogie or some papaya mango or like that shit would probably blow my fucking mind out, yo. If that's the first thing I ever smoked, like I don't know how that shit would affect me. This shit fucking 39% or some shit like that. Like what the fuck? And now I can just imagine like what our old weed was. That shit was probably like 12% THC, maybe 9%. And then it had the perfect balance of the CBDs because it was just a more natural plant.
I know y'all had the one guy who's this about over anyway.
Yeah. I don't know. I still enjoy smoking weed, but I'm honestly like trying to wean myself back down to a more manageable levels. So I don't feel like I gotta smoke like 6 joints a day or something. I'm 21 years past the 27th club. This nigga 48. And still spit it fucking stupid, yo. Once again, yo, I have had the great experience of growing up listening to like really good music, yo. Like that shit really a lot of the artists, like I grew up in that gangster rap, but these artists would still have really thought-provoking songs that made niggas think about their life, contemplate their life. Like,
they don't rest right on the spot out here.
now it's just, I don't know, I don't see those artists anymore. Once again, like honestly, like J. Cole and Kendrick were some of the last ones to come out. Even their artists that they put out since J. Cole has got his own game now, they still not like him, man. Earth Gang and Jid and Boz and yeah, they're all hot, but it's still like it's a difference, man. There'll never be another Nas or Jay-Z or Biggie or Pac or Wu-Tang or like that shit is impossible to duplicate that shit, yo.
We good? Yes, sir. All right. Have a good day. You too.
Have a good day, Musa.
It's different out here than in Jersey, man. I get
in Jersey. He got locked up in Jersey.
A little bit more support out here than
the dude he caught in Jersey who shit his pants. They locked him up too.
It hasn't always been like that. Like I get the support from like
I just got a
like
call
PD
right
because
from New York,
in the beginning I didn't.
And
get
I
that
don't have the
support
number
like
saved in my phone.
But
Like it says to create a new contact, but a name came up though.
You know what I'm saying? It's no
Like, and
denying
I've
what
never
I
seen
do.
it do that.
There's no denying what the work I do. So
Mm-hmm.
I kill them with catches, man. Let's change people's perspective of me just by the good I do. You feel me? How was the catch? How was the catch? How was the catch? Was it real glitchy? Was it real glitchy? It was real glitchy?
I still can't get over that man shit on himself. Literally.
It was good. Some glitchy.
Shannon
Was
says smoking pot while young consents in
not
fundamental
bad,
brain development
okay.
under 25 years of age. First
It
thing they
did
did was
glitch
take
at
the seeds so
sometimes.
we can't
It's
farm our
always like
own.
that because I'm
I
inside
just
the
don't smoke
building.
like I used to.
And I'm not on their Wi-Fi. I don't do their Wi-Fi passcode.
The weed not as good as it used to be.
That's all
Even now.
good. Well, I'm about to be out of here though, man. About to take it back in the house.
Yeah, I remember like my real heavy smoking days. Like I said, I used to smoke Dutchess. I get a box of Dutchess
But I'm out of here though.
and roll all them bitches
See
and
y'all.
just put them back in the box. And then just smoke, have that shit like a pack of cigarettes, smoking them shits all day long, yo, big fat Dutchies, yo. But even, like I said, even then it was still like that old time Mexican brick pack weed where you had to get the seeds and stems out that bitch. Like I say now, motherfuckers don't even pick a seed. You can't even
That's
find
that
a
weed that
seed.
give you a fucking headache, yeah. Or maybe not y'all, cause y'all is used to it. Shaman, you in here moderating and kicking these people out?
It'll give you a headache now for sure.
Somebody beat me to the punch and kicked this person out, whoever did, thank you. Because they are relentless. Relentless.
But what?
More Vartech, and now it's Vom Ong. I don't know. They change the website like every week, I've noticed that. It went from the Void to the Vartech to whatever this is now. But I already know Shaman don't play, so I figured it was him. Let's go. Oh, you wanna stay up here? Let's stay up here. Come on.
Alright. See how this will turn out. Let the outline dry. Let me tone this canvas. And I might have to set it to the side for a minute. All right. Nope. I'm trying to edit this damn shit. It won't work. Yo, I keep losing connection up this shit, yo. You know what I think it be sometimes? When I have the tablet on. There's a lot of shit pulling the internet now. And I'm on the 3rd floor. Like, I'm the farthest away from the fucking router. And it's my phone, the PlayStation, the laptop, the tablet, and my girl was up here with her phone. So that's like 5 devices alone just in this one room. All trying to pull the Wi-Fi from downstairs. Yo, this beef bacon, oh my god. It should be so good, yo. Got that ginger beer. So I was at the gym this morning. We got a bunch of TVs up. One of the TVs was on the news saying that Some dude named Danny Kelly shot dead in front of his kids on Christmas Eve.
Yo, what's good, man? We're back with a Secret Baby by a 23-year-old. Go back and check out that video.
Professional boxer from Maryland was killed in front of his girlfriend and 3 kids in a possible road rage scene on Christmas Eve, according to police. A junior, a 30-year-old resident of Clinton, Maryland, was driving to a holiday gathering with his CHLDRN and gal pal in nearby Temple Hills on Friday afternoon when a suspect pulled up his vehicle next to the family's SUV and someone inside the other car opened fire, according to the department's preliminary probe. At this time, detectives are looking into whether this was possible road rage, local police said in a statement. Found Kelly unconscious in the driver's seat the SUV with multiple gunshot wounds, Prince George's County Police Department announced Saturday in a statement. He was later pronounced dead.
That's crazy. They shot him in his car.
Kelly's family says that he trained Rager at the Bald Eagle Boxing Camps in Southwest DC. And he was good. 10-3-1 as professional, including 9 knockouts, competing in places like the Barclays Center and Mar-a-Lago. But the family says he was more than just a boxer. He was a family man that was always there. Brian Perry is still in shock after learning the shooting of his older cousin. He spoke with us along with his godmother, Nadine, and his grandmother, Layla.
But I do know that he knew we loved him, and we knew he loved us.
Police say the shooting happened on the 4400 block of St. Artemis Road in Temple Hills just before 5 p.m. on Christmas Eve. Kelly was driving with his girlfriend and 3 kids. That's when police say another driver pulled up next to Kelly's car and started shooting. Detectives are looking into whether this is a possible case of road rage.
He was a wonderful dad. He loved his babies. He loved his children. They lost their father. And
So your boy ain't gonna
nobody
wake
knows
yet.
why.
Also reeling is Daryl Brown, his first boxing coach and mentor.
I don't know. That don't sound like no road rage. That sound like some other shit, bro. I swear, yo, I'ma just turn my damn Wi-Fi off on my damn phone. That shit is not connecting the shit up here right now.
Watched as Danny went from a 16-year-old kid to a professional.
Inside the bar, outside the bar. I love him outside. If he would stop right now, if he would just stop and say, man, I don't want to do this, he's still with me.
As for the person that did this, Brian had a message.
He really took a big piece of my heart. I thought I'd never had. I swear, it crushed me.
Now, police are offering $25,000 to anybody that has information on this, and the family is urging people to come forward if they know anything. You can find details on our website, WBSA9.com. Southwest, another Kozlov, WBSA9.
Oh, I once swatched soap and deodorant and toothpaste.
For all Wash sounds like a job for old Dr. Swatch. From his hair to his mouth, and his pits to his grundle, the best present ever is a holiday bundle. If you really want to make them say, "Ooh, gimme!" Get festive freshness sent right down your chimney. To smell bad on Christmas would be quite tragic. So call Dr. Swatch for some mistletoe magic. Also, candles. On beard oils, on scents, on grips and savor. He'll have some for now and some more for later. For a ho-ho-ho lot of holiday cheer, we have everything he needs to start the new year. It's right around the corner, so please don't wait. Click the link now before it's too late. Skip the rush and stress of holiday shopping. Bring joy to his shower and soap to his style. Go to Dr.
Oh my God, this commercial is too long and it's
Jingle and
fucking.
it's Kris Kringle tingle.
Right now, shit. Should've been skipped that shit. I was like, damn, how much longer is this fucking
The
Christmas
average adult
Eve
has
shit
5
gonna
to
go?
20 pounds of toxic poop in their body at any given moment.
I'm not
Seems
listening about no
crazy, right?
toxic
All that poop just sitting there.
Okay.
Thanks all of you for being here. I think I'll direct this to Dr. Fauci, but I welcome everybody's answer. I just want to go through what we do know. We've heard a lot about what we don't know. So here are the things that we do know. Okay? So SARS-1, we identified the host animal within 4 months. Because I believe we identified the host animal within 9 months. In 15 and a half, 16 months, we've still not seen it, and China's not produced any evidence.
What I can do is
transmitted COVID-19 to a human. We know that China has a history of lab accidents. I think Dr. Fauci answered Senator Graham's question. I think he phrased it as, has there ever been a pandemic that came out of a laboratory? And the answer was no. But we do know of outbreaks that came out of a laboratory. I believe back in 2004, 2 researchers in Beijing were infected doing research on SARS and led to an outbreak. China has a history of lab accidents. This outbreak happened in a city that happened to be the home, coincidentally, of a lab which we know is involved in extensive research. And what they do is they take this naturally occurring
You speak fluent Chinese and Japanese, you're learning some Korean, you must catch people talking about you, right? Well, yes, but whenever I hear this question, I'm always reminded of that Seinfeld episode. You know when they're in the nail salon and they catch the staff talking about them?
Everybody under up. Where's my tail? I heard every word you said. Every word you said. Every word you said.
Is it just a little bit of paranoia that when we hear people speak a foreign language, we tend to wonder, are they talking about me? Or perhaps it's the fact that foreign languages tend to make some people feel a bit uncomfortable, maybe even a little bit angry.
You got some nerve!
Well, anyway, today we're going to be taking a look at footage where I actually caught people talking about me on camera and they thought that I couldn't understand.
Write in the comment section what your experience has been, like this video, and subscribe. And today we're going to be delving into this bold question. How likely is it that people are actually talking about you? And if so, what are they saying? Let's get started.
ロシアじゃないよ。ロシア人だと思いますか。アメリカから来ました。アメリカアメリカが好きですか。好きなんですか。大好きです。よかった。応援してくれてありがとうございます。好きですか。大好きですよ。今東京に住んでるんです。今英語を勉強してますか。英語はもう今5年目ですね。中学ジュニアハイスクール、ハイスクール。わあ。But no English. No English? No English. Oh no! Why? Why? Empty head. Is this your teacher? Yeah. English teacher. But no English. No English. Only Japanese. Only Japanese. No English. 頑張ってくださいね。英語を勉強するのは楽しいんです。いや、そんなことないですけど、今日本企業に勤めています。頑張ってください。諦めないでください。あ、いいですよ。一緒に撮ってもいいですよ。一緒に撮りましょうか。はい。イエーイ。はい、チーズ。あと本人は大丈夫ですか。大丈夫です。大丈夫です。記念のために撮りますか。こっちに。はい。ここでクラスメイトたちは羨ましいですね。羨ましいです。楽しい。はい。だね。Look at those high school kids. Oh, they are so cute. You know, a lot of high school kids want to practice English. They all learn it in school, and if you're alone on a trip, they're easy to talk to. They really are. They actually will look at foreigners, notice foreigners. Like he just said, is she from Russia? Like most Japanese people think I'm from Russia. And I could just tell they wanted to talk. But maybe if you didn't speak Japanese, you wouldn't have heard that. And them talking, Roshia-jin desu ka? Is she from Russia? You pick up on that, you're like, they've been watching you the whole time they wanted to talk. So make the first move if you want.
That's pretty cool, catching motherfuckers talking about you.
Cheese. かわいいですね。Ooh, yeah. I can say I touched a deer. Yay!
Yeah, even if I move to Japan, I'm not learning Japanese, man. Fuck that.
成人式の時ですか？あ、おめでとうございます。在说我吗？你在说我吗？好，可以说我，你夸我的话就可以说我。あ、日本語も話せます。今話してるのは日本語じゃないですけど。如果你来的话，我们会愿意跟你交流。哦，英语可以啊。你说中文。How's your English? Do you speak English too? 这是我的母语啊！这是我的母语。跳到了，对不对？真的吗？太好玩了，太好玩了！好，先走了啊。They're all looking at me. They're looking at me from down the street. That's kind of fun. That's kind of fun. Look at how cute these little pandas are.
That's crazy. The lady said something about her in Chinese, and then she started talking Chinese. She's like, "Oh no, I speak Japanese." She said, "I speak Japanese too." And then the white lady's like, "You speak English too?" And the Chinese lady's like, "What the fuck? You speak Chinese, Japanese, English?" That's crazy. I kind of wish I knew how to speak a different language, but I speak the master's tongue, the English language. I actually want to learn like an African dialect, learn some fucking Swahili or some shit. Yo, at the gym this morning, I seen the funniest shit, yo. The old head, this motherfucker gotta be in his like late 50s, early 60s. This motherfucker, he ain't no big looking dude neither. Just some regular looking old guy. This motherfucker, he get on the bench. He got motherfucking. This motherfucker got 100 and fucking 295 pounds, I think. No, he had 225. He had 275 pounds on the bench, right? Yo, this motherfucker got 275 pounds on the bar. He picked that shit up. Wait. Yo. Yo, he picked the bar up. And he started doing like this. And then set the shit back down. I'm like, I'm like, yo, what the fuck was that? What did you do? What is you doing? I swear to God, yo, he was like in between me and this other guy. Other guy looking a little bit younger, probably about my age. Pretty fit looking guy. He over there doing some work. He was doing like some clings, and I'm squatting. So the first guy, so he's standing up. He over there standing up, fucking clinging or deadlifting or whatever. Then the guy in the middle, he's laying down on the bench, and then I'm standing up squatting. And so both of us kind of standing up. Yo, we just look at each other and then look at this dude, and it was like, I don't think that's how you supposed to do it. I don't think that's how you supposed to do it, old head. This motherfucker said, and then put it back down. I was like, wow. Shit, I can probably do 325 like that then. If that's all I got to do, shit, put 325 on that bitch. I can do that shit. This motherfucker ain't even do one whole rep. And then on top of that, this was the killer for me anyway. Yo. Yeah, he set up and then started holding his chest like that shit was tight. He was like, oh yeah. Yeah. Oh my God. Oh my God. This motherfucker's like, yeah. I'm like, dude, you ain't do shit just now, bro. What did you just do, man? What was that? Who showed you that? Who even told you that's a thing? That's a part of working out. Like, bro, okay, you broke the bar and you literally lifted. You lift 275 pounds, but you didn't press it. You didn't bench press that shit, bro. Like, I don't know what the fuck you call that. And then putting it back. Like, I don't know what that is, but you definitely didn't bench press that shit, bro. Yeah. Oh, yeah. I'm like, that shit was, I don't know. That was, damn, you know what? I could have got that shit on camera. I was right next to this motherfucker, yo. That would have been one of them videos. The people at Planet Fitness. That's where I go, man. You get a lot of weird shit going on in Planet Fitness, man. I don't know. Well, I hated to do legs this morning, but I had to get that shit out the way. Now my legs are all fucking stiff and tight, and then the studio's on the fucking 3rd floor. That's why I really been trying not to go downstairs. I'm like, fuck stairs right now, yo. Oh, man. Alright, trying to wait for this outline to dry so we can go ahead and tone this canvas. I actually have had it sitting in front of the heat for a minute. See if that'll help out any. Let me put it in front of keep it in front of the heat for like 1 more minute while I get the brush ready, I guess. Let's see. I'm gonna need that for some water and the brush and paint. I may actually use this.
That's dosha called anko in Japanese. I feel like I did a bad thing. I ate him. 这好吃吗？好吃啊。味道怎么样？味道相当不错。相当不错。他做的怎么这么好？还可以吧，还可以。然后你进来吃的话，那个有赠送的给他。是吗？真的吗？北京菜和四川菜都给我。那个小笼包有多大？这么大吗？这么大？我这里送你2个。真的吗？好好，我来吃。好，谢谢。送2个啊。2个小笼包。这个花送太好了，人也是。哦，谢谢谢谢，过奖了。你想吃什么？你喜欢什么？我喜欢好吃的东西，我喜欢东北菜。东北菜有没有？没有吗？应该没有吧？这有北京菜。北京料理，你看一下图片哈。好。为什么突然变得这么安静？你说呢？安静不安静？安静。这么说的太容易想，我们瞎笑。太逗了。So what did you think? In these 10 years of living in China and Japan, I've sometimes caught people talking about me, but I've never caught anyone saying anything bad. That is the truth. Not saying that it doesn't happen, but a lot of it is definitely in our heads. And one...
Well, that's crazy. Like, shit, you've lived in Japan and China for 10 years. Of course, your Chinese should be really good. If you've actually lived there, worked there, and done everything there for fucking 10 years, and especially like once again, not being forced to. If you just love the culture and wanted to learn the language, I don't see how that would be so difficult. Your Chinese is very good. Yep, that just happened. That just happened. All right. I'm dropping iPads and canvases. I got the fucking drop sheets right now, son. Got the motherfucking drop sheets.
Saw his star in the east, and we have come. He saw his star in the east, and we have come.
Yeah.
Listen. Stop. Now. Marcus. Marcus. He saw his star in the east, and we have come. Saw his
Alright, my bad.
You think about poop. Now, some people think about their poop a lot. Others, not so much. Did you know that every time that you pay a
Day in Vegas.
Next year, I got you. Sure.
Like, really? Yeah. I have some questions.
I already know you're ready.
How should I, come on, like, Catherine still? Because,
I'll tell her that.
yeah, are you coming to Vancouver in Vancouver? Yeah.
Right, late next year or 2021.
Okay. Thanks again for your set. Thanks for remembering me too. I appreciate that. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. See ya. Bye. See ya.
Alright, peace, bro. He said it's still early. This nigga gotta go back to bed. Who?
What you got friends in Maine?
Oh, wow.
Yeah, that just came. And I don't know.
Jermaine R. Cole.
J. Cole, welcome to Winmark Studios. In Santa Monica.
That's a little spam bill.
You've been here before.
I have.
Tell us a bit about you recording at Winmark.
Yo, he actually.
This studio.
So Nardwuar caught him in 2019. Oh, this is Marine from the Lackawanna County Arts and Cultural Department. The Electric City Trolley Music. Marine McGregor, she is sweet, and she always hit me to the grants. Like any grant that I can apply for, she emails me personally. And now Liz realized this shit too, because the last 2 grants that came in, Liz emails them to me. She's like, Travis, have you heard about this? I'm like, yo, Marine already sent that shit to me. Like I get it directly to my own personal email, not my work email or nothing. Like she fucking keeps me up on grants. Like, yo, Travis.
Yo, the mail was extra late this year.
And so he makes his each year.
Nice.
Rich.
Nice calligraphy.
Yeah, he makes his own. Like he does a drawing each year for Christmas.
Oh, that's a Christmas card you can keep.
And that's his dogs.
That's dope, yeah. I figured that was them. I know they always send you pretty cool stuff, and it said
yeah, but that's always his artwork. Yeah, I don't
super
know.
cool. Also, it's a Christmas card. It's nice to get cards in the mail. Did she send you 2 cards on accident?
Yeah.
She sent you the identical card.
Everybody gets the same thing, nigga.
She bought a pack and sent them out, but at least
But
she
she
thought
made
about
sure that Travis gonna get one. Send another one. Did
Send
I send
another one.
him?
I can't remember.
I can't remember if you got one. Send it. Well, just send it again. Make sure you got one.
downstairs?
Yeah, please. Thank you.
Oh,
damn.
See, cool to me. But yeah, let me know when you get hungry again, and I'm gonna need to wash laundries. What can I do it? Or is it too hard for me to put it back together?
What? I already put the washer back together.
Oh.
But so Nardwuar caught J. Cole coming off a concert like in 2019. He was like, bro,
J. Cole was
and
like, how do you know that?
He was like, no. He walked up to him. He's like, bro, I know who you are. I can't do it right now. I'm gonna get you next year. And he was like, what? He's like, look. I promise. I give you an interview next year, maybe next year. But that was in 2019. But they just did this shit. It says December the 9th, 2021, and they're in Santa Monica, California. Not worry about to hit his ass with some killer questions. That fucking know everything. Anything that can be known. Like, how do you?
Yeah, maybe like yo, she says.
Yeah, when he got K-Dot, like I didn't even think he was.
Right over there.
He was that fucking good.
That's I'm just realizing that right
now. I love J. Cole though. He's so fucking humble. Him and Kendrick Lamar.
Type level. That's crazy. So yeah.
That beat is incredible. How did you create that beat?
Thank you, man. I appreciate that. I did that beat in that room. It was me. I had there was a play, August Wilson, and the play was
Branton Marcellus.
Branton Marcellus did the soundtrack for a movie that was based off a play of an August Wilson play. I don't know the name. It was The Piano or something. It was an incredible play that my mom took me to see in Fayetteville, North Carolina. So I heard that at the play in Fayetteville. I heard them singing the song in the play. So it's like. Talking about Berta. He was singing to his girl Berta, saying when he gets off the chain gang, he might not want her. Like, I might not want you when I get back or whatever. But I heard him singing the song. I'm like, oh my god. I went to YouTube, tried to like scour the globe for this sample that I had heard at this play, and luckily, Branton Marcellus had did the soundtrack for the movie they created for this play. So took that looped it up, you know what I mean, chopped it up, put the drums on it in that room right there. My man Ron Gilmore pulled up, put the keys on it. I came back the next day, wrote it in that room right there. It was a lot of pressure because I knew the beat was hard, so I was like, yo, I I gotta really, you know what I mean? I gotta take a day, come back. So I wrote it in that room right there. And we dropped that album 7 years ago today. Can you believe it?
To welcome you back to Wingmark, I have a gift for you right here, and it's in this bag right here.
Okay.
It's for J. Cole.
You always bring amazing gifts. This is a turntable?
A J. Dilla turntable.
Turntable. This is recipe J. Dilla, the God, the GOAT. This is fire. Thank you, sir. I appreciate it.
33, 45, and 78. It also plays 78.
Wow. Didn't even know that was a thing.
You sampled J. Dilla.
I sampled J. Dilla probably many times in my life. Which one are you talking about?
The Erykah Badu sample.
Yeah, man. One of the greatest beats of all time that I just lately, you know what I mean, looped up, put some extra little drums on, and used it as an intro for Friday Night Lights.
J. Dilla was also sampled by Lute. Lute from Dreamville.
Yeah. Legendary Luke. Shout out Luke. Charlotte in the building. Luke, incredible MC. Dreamville, we in here. Yes, sir.
I thought this turntable would be good for you going to record.
Still Summon is that song that you're talking about. Yeah. I got background vocals on that song, little known fact.
I thought it's amazing, this turntable, that you can take to record stores to find records to listen to them.
Facts. 100%.
And you are Jay?
No one can be told what the Matrix is. You gotta see it to believe it. That's why you're still fighting and why you will never give up.
Cole.
And J. Cole, I have another gift for you right here. The Gerald Wilson Orchestra. Does that bring back any memory?
Assuming this is something that I sample, but I'm going to tell you the truth, Narwhal, at this point in my life.
Applying pressure. You didn't...
This is Applying Pressure sample.
No, it actually isn't, because I couldn't... But Gerald Wilson record from 1966 with gatefold, a gatefold record.
Okay, well, I'm going to tell you the truth. I reached a point in my career where, like, I can't keep up with everything that I'm sampling no more. When I was a kid and when I was in my 20s, I could do that. Now it's just this information overload. So, yeah, but thank you for this. I appreciate that.
What can you say about Applying Pressure, though?
I can say the rapping is immaculate. The beat is hard. It's off of the off season. I can say those things.
Also, first choice. I have another gift for you right here.
Is this
Middle
Child? T-Minus, who produced it, who we met earlier.
Somewhere here.
Somewhere in the building.
We find him.
We can.
Possibly, if he walks by.
Yeah, we can find him.
If you yelled his name, would he come?
T-Minus!
Let's see the power of J. Cole. If he just yells his name.
T-Minus!
You going, J. Cole?
T-Minus!
Oh, this is amazing.
Did you hear that?
Yes. Come over.
T-Minus! I just happened to be here right now.
This is incredible. But please come forward here, T-Minus.
Does this ring any bells for you? First choice, Armed and Extremely Dangerous.
Yeah, it looks kind of familiar. Well, it's a sample that we used a couple years ago, back in North Carolina.
Bro, what was happening?
Honestly, bro, you found it, really.
Yeah. Well, we were on what? On TrackLib or something?
Yeah, TrackLib.
You sampled on TrackLib. We heard the loop, because TrackLib will let you like listen to the stems. So if you listen to the song, you won't actually hear that sample. You know what I mean? It's because they gave us the stems. So we heard that one.
For TrackLib, it's a big drop for them.
We need all the money. TrackLib, T-Minus, J. Cole, Narwhal. We need a percentage of your shit for just saying it right now.
I was curious, T-Minus, what can you say about J. Cole?
I mean, shit, there's a lot to say. Don't do it. Don't tell him. Yeah, he's a great dude, man. I mean,
I don't like people talking about it as, you know what I mean? I'm right here. You know what I mean?
Well, what can you say, J. Cole, about T-Minus?
That I can do. One of the GOATest of the GOAT producers of our generation. Hits, classics, radio singles, club singles, Drake, Kendrick, Cole, and How Low Can You Go by Ludacris. More important than everything, which really, yeah.
It's funny because, when I first met Cole, his engine was saying that they would use How Low as like a mixer shit, like test out the speakers. Mez, yeah. So I mean,
every time Mez is about to mix an album or mix a song, he uses, like for Sonics, he uses How Low Can You Go as like a Sonic reference, and Dr. Dre and things like that. So every time I'm about to mix, I hear Mez, so I'm like, why are you playing How Low Can You Go? He's like, yo, the Sonics are incredible. So after I started working with this guy, we just started talking about his history and stuff, and I realized one of his first big songs was How Low Can You Go to Ludacris.
I know, crazy.
50 billion copies.
But yo, back to this shit though. It's crazy because
that's a gift. That's a gift actually for J. Cole, but also for
gift this right now to team. Can I re-gift? I'm gonna re-gift.
It's the season for re-gifting.
I'm gonna re-gift this classic album that holds a very incredible piece of our history, sir. I'm gifting this to you.
Appreciate it, bro. Thank you, man.
And he appreciates you through me.
Man, Canadian, yo, we Canadians, man. Come on, man.
6.
Come on. Led with that, Narwhal. That should have been the first thing he said.
Middle child, first choice, T-, and do-do-lo-do.
What I say?
What, you don't know the phrase? Do-do-lo-do. Do-do.
Yeah!
Jay-Z! Kanye! Andre 3000!
Hey, Cole, the people at the studio.
Nigga acting, you know what I mean? They real Hollywood right now. Like, they don't want to come in.
Jay?
Lamar Cole.
Cole. Also, Damian Lillard. You sampled Dame.
I did sample Damian Lillard. Yeah, the GOAT of all time basketball player and rapper. For sure.
Quote J. Cole, these insane raps should stay wrapped in a...
Oh, these insane raps should stay wrapped in a straitjacket. Oh, I was like 15, my boy. Or maybe 17. That's a... How you know about that one?
Well, you're J. Cole. We have to know it.
I love it. Yeah, thank you.
What can you say about that era? Like, Cannabis, the therapist.
Yeah, Cannabis, huge inspiration on my teenage years of rapping. Just ferocious, barred up, lyrical, punchlines, any cipher, any gathering of 3 or more people that want to rap, I'm destroying it. That was my whole MO, that was my forte. And Cannabis was a big part of that. Eminem was a big part of that. Royce 5'9" was a big part of that. Big L was a big part of that. You feel me?
Bomb Shelter. He named you the therapist?
It was a duo. 2 rappers. One was a rapper and producer from Fayetteville, North Carolina. I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for them because they were from my city and they made music to me that sounded just as good as Outkast or Redman, Method Man. You know what I mean? It's the first time I heard somebody from the city doing quality type music that was similar to what I listened to. So they had the coolest rap names I ever heard. Nervous Wreck was one of them, and the other one was Filthy Rich. Spelled them all cool, you know what I mean? And I was just like, damn, I need a rap name like that. So, you know, they offered to help me find a rap name, you know what I mean? And one day they called me up and they was like, yo, we got one for you. And I was all excited. I thought my shit was gonna be just as fire as theirs. I was like, what is it? And it was like, it's Therapist. And my heart said, no. But my admiration and love for them and the feeling of these guys gave me a name was like, oh, that's dope. You know what I mean? So I kept that name for about, you know, maybe 4 or 5 years until I got to college and realized I'm not trying to go by no fucking alien. You know, it just feels like a wrestler or something, you know what I mean? But I will say it is a practical joke from God, like a wink from God, because in my life and now as an adult man, I realized that I play that role for a lot of people, and willingly and lovingly. I love to listen to people talk. I love to ask them questions that may, you know, allow them to open up a part of themselves that maybe they hadn't thought about before, accessed before. So, ironically, I have become the therapist without that rap name. You feel me? And that's a blessing to me.
So your studio, is it called The Shelter?
Yeah, The Shelter, which actually we just closed it down. It gave us amazing. We should have had you do a documentary on this shit or something. But it gave us about 6 amazing years of Dreamville family and community in North Carolina. And you know, that's the place where, you know, before we signed Earth Gang and JID, we all were there, posted up. They were living. Ohm came through. We were living. We were cooking. Kaz came through. We were living. We were cooking. Luke. Ari spent a lot of time there. Her and Elite cooking up classics. Shea Butter Baby, I think either that or yeah, I think it was Shea Butter Baby. A lot of that stuff was done in the shelter. Just legendary moments in the shelter, which is all. That name of that studio was just paying homage to bomb shelters in Fayetteville, North Carolina. Yeah.
J. Cole, quote, "It's no time to chill. I'm trying to get..."
Millions of dollars was on my mind at that time. I was dead broke. There was no time to relax, go hang out, party. No, I was broke. I needed millions. I saw, even when I had negative money in my account, which was very often, I saw millions in my future. I wanted safety, comfort, security, ease, no more stress. Tired of watching people stress. Tired of watching people fucking scrape and pawn shit just to make this, and you know what I mean? I was tired of that shit, tired of being that myself. So that was my thing, you know what I mean? At that time, no time to chill, trying to get rid of.
I was hoping, though, Hope Mill Road.
Hope Mills Road in Fayetteville, North Carolina. What do you know about Hope Mills Road?
Vic's Drive-In.
Oh, Vic's Drive-In. Well, I don't think Vic's Drive-In on Hope Mills Road. However, Vic's Drive-In is a legendary spot in food spot in Fayetteville, North Carolina. Unfortunately, as is the case in lots of places in America with gentrification, they tore this shit down, and Vic's is no longer with us in the original location. Hopefully they pop back up.
The Hope Mill Tigers.
Southview Tigers is a high school in Fayetteville, North Carolina. It's really in Hope Mills, like in the outskirts of Fayetteville. Shout out my boy Cedric, who was in the other room, who went to Southview.
Alright, I'm out of here. I'll definitely be back up here later today. Try to get started on this underpinning.